Hi, y'all. Hi, Guilty Angel. How are ya? Thanks for joining. So I got everything pulled up. Let me give a moment or two. Hopefully the notifications get sent out. I was able to post it at least maybe 5 minutes before the live to see if that would help. So we'll see. But y'all, I don't even know what to say. It's just the situation is insane. So we're going to talk more about the marriage recession. For those of y'all that don't know, there is a marriage recession. Oh my God. For a second there, I thought I forgot to unmute myself because usually I'll mute myself at the beginning of the video. But for those of y'all that don't know, there is a marriage recession going on. Hi, Victoria. How are ya? I'm good, Guilty Angel. Thanks for asking. Hi, Victoria. So for those of y'all that don't know, there's kind of like a marriage recession happening. And y'all, this has been going on. I feel like this has been going on for years. The numbers have been declining for years and years and years, right? So it's not like, I feel like because it's getting worse and worse out there, it's starting to get more attention. But from all the research and all the data that I've seen, more and more women have kind of been choosing not to be out there, not to date, just for several reasons. So we're going to take a look at, the first thing we're going to take a look at is this whole mentality that women are ignoring males that don't chase. So I guess a good chunk of the women that are still open to entertaining males, I think, is the subset that we're talking about here, are choosing to ignore the males that aren't willing to chase after them. So I don't know what y'all think about that. I already have my thoughts on that. So we'll see what's going on here and go from there. And then we'll also kind of see the general side of things, because I just don't understand what the problem is. These males, every time I feel like the males can't get any worse, they do. They actually literally get worse. Every time I feel like they can't get worse, the males end up worse. Every time I feel like, okay, they've run out of excuses, they won't have a choice but to face the truth now, they find another excuse. They prove me wrong. They literally get worse. And I'm just thinking, is this a surreal, is this real? I can't even believe it. That Victoria says, I think most marriages that will happen for women are business proposals that help invest in a better future, build generational wealth off of partnerships and friendships. Exactly. I agree. So I think that the only time a marriage makes sense is if he's financially richer than you. Honestly, that's really the only time that it makes sense. I would not even consider a marriage under any other circumstances unless he literally makes 10 times what you make. Because if it's oh, he's richer than me, but he only makes 1x or 2x what you make, you're just trapping yourself there for no reason, And then you have to think, is this guy an unaliver? Is he a pedo? What am I going to have to put up with in order to get that business arrangement going? Because that's essentially what it would end up being, is a business arrangement, whether or not the male acknowledges that, that's what it's going to end up being. Yeah. Oh, really? The Barbie life together? They decided to buy a mansion? Interesting. So I like that idea. So y'all, let's go ahead and get started. I think that was pretty good. A 5-minute intro, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started and see what's going on here, because it's totally insane. It's totally wild. Y'all, these males have come up with something else. It's always something. Y'all, okay, let's go.
Welcome back, Joe.
What?
This is obviously a problem that's going on today. That has never happened before, other than this new modern era, where women like to maximize hypergamy to the greatest lengths. And you know what, guys? If they can, they will. And that's what everybody has to understand. If women can do these things and get away with it, they will. So should we be upset about that? The answer is no. Men have to adjust to what's going on today. It's the only right answer. You have to adjust. You have to see it for what it is and understand that it's gonna stay there, bro. There's all this talk of everything's so messed up. Is anything ever going to get better? Are these women ever going to wisen up? Are these women ever going to wake up? The answer is no. This is the new world.
Okay, y'all. So he's already started with saying that it's women that have to wise up and it's women that have to wake up. Hopefully y'all can hear that okay. Let me know if you're not able to hear it okay. Because I was thinking about leaving my speaker here, but then I just went ahead and took it back downstairs, but I can go back and get it if we need the speaker. But he's already started. At first, it starts off sounding like he's going to say something productive. And then he goes into like the mask falls off, right? So he starts off, now he's saying, are these women going to wise up? Are these women ever going to figure it out? No, y'all. Okay, let's keep going.
This is where we're at. It's only going to move more towards that. We're only moving more towards these new modern ways. Women used to act very, very differently, guys. Very differently. It's a whole other beast out there today. And it's because they can. It's because they can maximize their hypergamy. They were always hypergamous. They just have cell phones now to help them maximize their hypergamy. That's why so many games are being played. That's why, as a man of value, you can talk to females who's 10, 20, 30 steps below you, and she could still have the audacity to ignore you. It doesn't make no sense to you, right?
Yes, I agree that Victoria. Did he just say you can talk to females that are 10, 20 steps below you and they still have the audacity to ignore you? Like, what is he talking about? Y'all, this is the caliber of males that's out there today. The bottom of the barrel, like the bottom feeders. This is it. This is what it looks like. Okay. This male is literally sitting here on YouTube saying how he tries to talk to women that are 10, 20 steps below him. And he's feeling like they have too much audacity because even those women are ignoring him. So instead of competing with your bros, these are the people that you're supposed to be competing with. The males in nature are supposed to be competing with their bros. That's who they're supposed to be competing with, not with women. This guy is sitting here literally competing with women, right? Oh, because you're 20, 30 steps below us, you're supposed to be our slaves. I don't really understand what his argument is, but this is what a gay male looks like. A male that maybe hasn't realized he's gay. Sir, if you have this many complaints, just date other males. I mean, it's not that complicated. You're sitting here competing with women. Like, are you well? These are the males that aren't able to compete with their own gender. These type of males here are not able to compete with other males because they'll get demolished when they compete with other males. That's why he's sitting here competing with women, because otherwise I'm not understanding like the competition. Like, what do you mean 20, 30 steps below you? First of all, you're telling on yourself, because now you're telling us that what you try to go for are women that are 20, 30 steps below you. And even they don't want you. So what's wrong with you? That's what comes to my mind. It's totally insane.
Well, let me make it make sense for you.
Okay.
She is maximizing her hypergamy. She does not care. That's what you guys have to understand. Women are solely maximizing their hypergamy. And it doesn't necessarily mean a woman won't even reach out to you first, because it happens. Women can reach out to you first. They can want to get with you first. But in their eyes, you're probably the best they can do. If you guys are having women reach out to you and they're trying to kind of get with you, you're either a really good catch to them or you're the best they can do. They're still being hypergamous because there's so many other guys they could deal with. There's so many other guys they could talk to, but they want you. And this is the side of it that you want to be on as a man. Like, bro, you have to get really, 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 really good today to have.
So he wants women to. So look, y'all, ladies, these males want to be chased as though they were women. These males are gay. I'm trying to tell you, like, these are gay. This is what a weak gay male looks like, especially within a patriarchy, because these males are supposed to be competing with each other for women. They're not supposed to be waiting for women to go hunting them down and for women to be the ones choosing the best that they can get. If they're doing that, then you have to start wondering why. Why do you want women to be the ones to reach out to you? What purpose does that serve for you? Like, why do you want that to be the case? And to me, it sounds like an asseuser. To me, it sounds like, okay, so you're trying to find women that you can assuce. So in order to make sure that you have enough leverage in order to assuce women, you want prey that's going to come to you. So you have enough leverage. That's what it sounds like to me. Hi, of course. Thanks for joining. Hi, of course. Thanks for joining. Let me make sure I didn't miss anyone. Okay, good. So to me, this guy sounds like what over 90% of the males today sound like and speak like. Completely feminine, completely gay. And it's like, do you not understand or realize that you're literally gay? Like, if you're sitting there waiting for a woman, this is not even the way it works. Even in the animal kingdom, it doesn't work that way. In the animal kingdom, literally for animals, the males chase the woman. That's why the males will only, because you got to put energy into chasing something. So don't chase something that you don't want. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to gather as many women as humanly possible so that they can assuce women and use women. So when women aren't the ones chasing them, now they're starting to complain. It's like, sir, you're literally gay. If you want to be chased, turn gay. Then you'll have tons of males chasing you. Okay? Because it's not even in nature. It doesn't even make sense within nature for women to be sitting there chasing you. Okay? So then you got to ask, like, but why are you such a bottom feeder? Like, why? Because this is a bottom feeder male. Like, the weakness that eludes, like, this is what a weak male looks like. Like, you want to know what, like, because males, the way males categorize themselves is they use a hierarchical system. Okay. There's this show on Netflix that I was watching yesterday, and it's such a good, oh my God, this show, it's insane. If you don't like violence and really graphic violence, then I wouldn't recommend this show. But it's a new show on Netflix. I cannot remember what it's called. And they just came up with the second season. And I binge watched the second season as well. I think it's like a Japanese or a Korean, one of those. And it literally shows you how males, it's about this guy, this kid. He's in high school, right? And every high school that he goes to, he has to literally, like, he's like considered alpha. So he goes to, like, schools that are mostly male dominated schools. And every school he goes to, he ends up having to fight a bunch of his classmates in order to retain like his alpha positioning. Okay. It's insane, y'all. It's insane. But this show on Netflix literally it literally shows you exactly how males how their hierarchy works, right? And I'm sitting watching this show that's showing it to me in the form of an entertainment, how males kind of position themselves within their own hierarchy, and my jaw is on the floor. I'm like, no, so you can tell, like, you can see the ones that they consider alphas. You can see the ones that are just background, right? There's so many of the males that can't fight. They would never pick a fight with any alphas. Then you can see all the other males that like are part of the clique with the alpha that are also strong, and they all go around like fighting each other. It's insane, y'all. The amount of violence in that show, be warned. Okay. That's how I say all that to say, because that show is insane. Okay. Like, you're going to be watching it and you're going to be thinking to yourself, what is wrong with these lunatics? Like, is this really how? Hi, Master of Healing. Thanks for joining. Hi, Tabby. Thanks for joining. Master of Healing, Tabby. Hi. So you're going to be watching this show, and you're going to be thinking to yourself, these males are nuts. Okay. And then you'll come to realize and understand why males end up competing with other males. For example, if you have a male that's putting hands on you, okay, if you have a male that literally puts hands on you, that's literally like in their hierarchy, that's literally a male that's on the bottom of the, because if you see the way they whoop the crap out of each other, if you see the way, oh my God, y'all, I can't even explain, right? So it's like a male that's sitting here waiting for women, like, you're literally sitting here, not embarrassed, saying that you're waiting for women to be like, you want us chasing you. So you're gay. Okay. Like, I don't know how no one else has told you this, but you're a gay male. Okay. Because women aren't supposed to be chasing jack squat. Okay. You should be serious about the woman that you're wanting to chase, serious enough to chase her. That's literally how it works, even in the animal kingdom. The problem is all of y'all try to go chasing after anything and everything. And that's how we know that you gay. Like, literally, like, it's like, if you want to be chased, you know what I mean? Then go tap your bros on the shoulder. You're a gay male, sir. Because it doesn't even work like that in the animal kingdom. They don't even, it's like, oh my God, like, what woman would want to be with this? Like, it's such a weak male. Like, their hierarchy, this guy's like right here at the bottom. Could you ever imagine a male that's like a strong male that doesn't play games with all these other little males? He's not going to be asking these little males any questions. Like, he just kind of dominates over all these other little males, especially when it comes to financially, right? Money, business. Talking like this? No way. Talking about like, yeah, like, I just much rather the woman chase me. Sir, you're gay. Piss all the way off. This is a gay male. Okay, this is what I'm saying. Like, DL bros, you got to pay attention. They'll tell in themselves. Okay, this is a feminine male who, in the midst of the male's hierarchy, within males, amongst males, is at the very bottom. At the very bottom. Can you imagine this male getting in a fight with some other male? Who do you think would win? If this male got in a fight with another male, like a physical fight with another male, who do you think? This guy stands no chance. This is a gay male through and through, like, so weak. Like, the weakness is on astronomical levels, y'all. Insane.
The amount of success that you would like with women today, you have to get really, 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 really good. All they have to do is look pretty and be likable. Pretty and likable.
Dude, it just keeps getting worse. He's literally jealous of women. He's like, all they have to do is be pretty and likable. They don't even have to do anything. My jaw. So you're literally jealous of women. You're literally jealous. I don't have the words.
That's all they have to do. So you guys just have to understand how it has to be on your end. It is rigged, but it's okay. Because one day you will be a king and you will do what a king does. You're probably not going to want just one woman. Maybe you will.
Sir, you can't be a king if you're below all the other males. How's that going to work? They keep thinking that women are their competition. You cannot be a king if you're below all the other males. And you're below all the other males because no male that's on top sits here waiting for women to chase them. That's a DL bro characteristic, sir. Are you gay? Maybe that's why you're not having any luck, because you're sitting here harassing the wrong gender. Okay. Go harass the right gender. Okay. Because no male that's above in the hierarchy, in their hierarchy, in the male's hierarchy that they've created for themselves, because women don't really, unless it's in relation to a male, function necessarily within a hierarchy, say per se, okay? But males, it's very different from males. I don't know if they keep thinking that they're women or what they think is happening, right? Y'all do function within a hierarchy. It's a very simple hierarchy, right? It's like the strongest, the most successful are up here, the rest of you are down here, and then you have the trash littered all over the place, right? So no male that's at the top of his hierarchy is going to be sitting here whining that he wants women to come to him. And then like, oh, don't worry when you're king. Y'all, insane.
But it better be the right one. Because I know what? I'll be single until I get the right woman. And until then, I will deal with whoever I want to deal with. That's what kings do. We're winning all the time. Just like most of these broads out here, bro. We got to put ourselves in a position where
He said that's what kings do. We're winning all the time. We're winning all the time, yet you're making a video complaining that women aren't chasing you. That's winning. Like, the males are delusional. Like, they don't have a brain. They're just so dumb. Like, it's like, I try not to like be too, but it's like this level of delusion is surreal. Like, you're winning all the time, but you're making a YouTube video about you losing because women aren't chasing you from your perspective.
We are winning all the time. We are winning all the time. Doesn't make us bad either. Everybody got to do what's best for them. If women feel the need to be hypergamous and ignore great men and do this and do that and try to desperately make you chase them, then that's what they have to do. You do something different.
Oh my God. What woman is trying to make him chase anything? Women are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like I said, even within the animal kingdom, this is the order in which it goes. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, the males chase. If you're not serious enough to chase, piss off and let the next guy through. Okay. Like, if you're too weak and you got all this whining and complaining, the next guy will do it, which is why women are the value to begin with. Okay. Women are the value because we already know there's tons of you and all of you lack self-control. All of you are led by your egos. All of you are always looking for the next thing, right? Women know that. So there's no reason for a woman to go chasing after you. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And then he's probably going for women that are out of his league. Because if he's complaining that women aren't chasing, look, sir, women that are out of your league are not going to even go anywhere close to you, especially not with this mentality. Are you kidding? You're just going to be wasting women's time. If you're not serious enough to where you want to chase her, then piss off. Like, it's like you shouldn't even be on the roster. You shouldn't even be on the list, because all you're gonna do is waste her time anyways, right? That's how it works in nature. That's literally just nature. Any animal, for the most part, that we look at, that is the sequence. That's the sequence. Okay. The male chases and the woman assesses. The male chases, the woman assesses. The male chases, the woman assesses, right? Any sequence within nature, that's how it goes. And if you're going to sit here complaining about it, then go tap your bros. Get one of them to chase you. There's tons of gay bros, like most of y'all are gay. So go tap your bros and sleep with one of your bros. Problem solved. Like, these males continue to whine and complain for no reason. What woman is forcing you? Like, no woman is literally forcing you. Like, who would miss you? What woman would literally like go out of her way, if you were to just stop talking to women altogether, to say, oh, you should start talking to women again? Nobody. No woman would do that. We'd move on to the next one. On to the next male we go. Okay. Like, it's like, what is he even saying?
And their game, you play yours. Everyone's playing the game. It's just some people suck at the game. Get better at the game. Start playing your game. Implement your strategy. Get some options. Get the wheel rolling. And if you so happen to come across a really, really, really good option, then you do. Perfect. There's lots of NHL players, bro, for example, that they're married to a hot woman, and they're obviously monogamous to each other. They're living the life. They have the dogs, they have the life, they have the love, they have the children, they have all this stuff, family events. That's the life. So until we get that, we have to do what's best for us. Deal with whoever we want. I'm not even saying sleep around all the time. I'm just saying deal with whoever you want, talk to whoever you want, date whoever you want. Do whatever you like to do with these women, bro. If you want to wrestle around naked in your living room with them, then go ahead.
Okay, ladies, so this is their mentality. And like I say all the time, stop messing with these males. You will catch a disease. You'll end up catching something. Okay. You'll end up catching something. It's like, what is he even talking about? Instead of just finding one that you like enough to target and chase, your solution is to sleep around with anything and everything. And then maybe I'll find one that I want to like settle down with in the future. It's disgusting. Okay. So ladies, it's the similar thing. Don't waste your time with no male unless you see that this male has the boxes checked. Okay. Limit your casualties. Like that's why I always say, get off the dating apps. Get off the dating apps. Okay. Don't be on those dating apps, because this is the garbage you'll find. This right here. You see how he's like, just sleep with anything and everything. Just sleep with anything and everything. Sir, the only thing I feel like is missing for you to sleep with is another male, because let's keep it 100% real. That's really what you want to do, is sleep with another male. I already know, just by the way that you sound. You gay, sir. You are a gay male. Okay. Just go sleep with what you really want to sleep with and leave women out of it. Because I'm not understanding. Like, I'm just not understanding. Like, instead of becoming a better person, instead of competing with his own species, like he's supposed to be competing with his own species, he's sitting here trying to compete with women, saying how, well, all women have to do is dress up and look nice and be nice. Sir, why are you worried about what women are doing and what women have to do? Why? Because you are not able to compete with your own male species? This is the bottom of their hierarchy, which is why I always tell women, stay away from these dating apps, because the only thing you're going to get from those dating apps is the bottom of what's at the very bottom of the trash pile. Okay, it's this guy. Okay, like the guy that can't compete with his own counterparts. He cannot compete, so therefore he defaults to trying to compete against women. Okay, the guy that's like telling males to sleep with anything and everything that's walking around. So by the time he gets to the next woman, he's giving the next woman who knows what disease he's caught, right? Like, this is the guy right here. They're used. Okay. These males like to try to say women are used. These males are used. They're used. Seriously.
Yeah. Whatever you guys like to do, bro, just focus on that. And if you're dealing with women that want to ignore you, well, you're not going to like that. So don't do it. It's okay.
I just can't stop giving if you're dealing with women that want to ignore you, this male is so gay, he doesn't even know what to do with himself. It's like, sir, you like taking it up your behind, go find another male to do that for you. Because how weak and gay do you have to be to feel a certain type of way about women ignoring you? That's literally the whole point. Oh, master, what, master, here we go. Is that what we're supposed to do? What are women supposed to do? Who do you think you are? What is going on? Sir, let me tell you what no one else has told you. You gay. Okay, move on. All right?
Hey, bro. Just don't deal with that situation. It's fine. She's playing her game. Just view it like that, man. If she was dealing with you in the first place, if she was talking to you for a second in the first place, if she acknowledged you in the first place, she sees something in you. That's all you have to know. She might have ignored you to play a game. But a ton of women today, I swear to God, guys, I've had women ignore me and then proceed.
Y'all, this guy is literally average looking at best. Look at this guy. Double chin, has what looks like a bear belly, super round, circular. This guy is barely even average looking at best. Sitting here trying to tell women what to do. Insane.
Play a game to try to kind of chase after me a little bit to make me take that bait to kind of approach them again. So you'll talk to them and stuff, and all of a sudden they say nothing. A couple of days goes by, and they're starting to think, I liked it when he was around. I liked how I felt when he messaged me. Let me play a little game and post a selfie to make it look like I want him to chase me. She'll post some stupid ass selfie, boy, and she'll put a caption in there and she'll do something, and it's a little tactic to try to make you watch that story or whatever she's going to do. She's going to try to make you kind of hit her up. The games these women play.
Oh my God, y'all. This guy looks like he's tweaking. Oh, it's like women just get under his skin so bad. He's so mad about it. He looks like he's tweaking. What is he talking about? That's what women are supposed to do. Peacocks, for example. When it comes to mating for peacocks, okay, the woman, the female peacock, what she does during their mating season or whatever the case may be is they spread their feathers and all the colors, and then the males go and chase based off of that. It's literally the same analogy here. Okay. The women attract. Okay. We don't go chasing, sir. We're doing what we're supposed to do. And we know that the males are creepy. They'll sit there watching stories and not even say anything. They'll literally sit there watching your Instagram story or whatever and not say a dang thing for years, just watching. Oh, y'all, that stuff is creepy. But we know that they do that. So duh, so this is what, it's just insane, y'all. Hi, Shining Star. How are ya? Hi, Shining Star. Thanks for joining. So it's just so creepy, y'all. These males are just like I said, they're just, every time I think they can't get any worse, they do. They're just just complete weirdos. He's yeah, they'll post. Meanwhile, y'all, mind you, he doesn't really have any proof that whatever women he's talking about are posting for him. Usually, if women want to talk to you, if they're interested, they're not going to really just stop talking to you. Okay. There's probably a reason why she stopped talking to you. Maybe he was sitting there just texting her like nonsense all day, you know, because more and more women are sick of that nonsense. Like, you're sitting here just texting all day. No one has time for that. You want to set up a date or not? If you're not going to set up a date, goodbye. Stop wasting my time. There's no telling what he's doing to where the women are losing interest in him. But he's thinking, oh yeah, women are just playing games. They'll sit here and not text you or whatever, and then post something on Instagram and they're doing it for me. Sir, did any one of these women say or tell you that they were doing that for you? Like, they're so psychotic. Like, they're complete weirdos. But oh my God, they're so creepy, y'all. These males are creepy.
Well, I don't know if they think they're smart or what they think, but it's incredible. It's incredible what y'all think. Incredible. So, yeah, you probably shouldn't ignore, should you? But they still do it because they want to maximize hypergamy. They want to try to keep the power. They want to try to make the men chase after them. She really liked you, bro. She obviously did. She can't stand going more than a couple of days without seeing your name pop up and say something to her to make her feel good. Why? Because you're an attractive guy and you talk to her. Oh, she feels some type of way about that. So if you're not there, because she ignored you, it starts to creep up. He don't even care. Let me post a selfie. Get him to chase me again. You couldn't just responded, could you? We would have been still talking. What happened? What happened, baby girl? What happened? Oh, you want me to desperately chase you? I'll chase you, all right. I'll chase you around the gym. Let's go get in shape. Nah, man. We ain't chasing nothing. If they want to...
Did he just say, I'll chase you around the gym, let's go get into shape, as if he's in shape? This is the delusion. This is the level of delusion for males. He tried to insult women by saying, I'll chase you, all right? I'll chase you around the gym, as if he's in shape. So you literally look like you're overweight, sitting there trying to catch your breath all in one, just because you're talking about women. You can't even breathe. This is what I'm saying. This is the delusion of males. The guy can't even catch his breath. He's struggling to breathe, y'all. He's struggling to breathe. But yet, I'll chase you all around the, like what are we talking about here?
Act like that. They can play their game because that's their game. And women's game comes back to bite them sometimes. Women's hypergamy does not always work in their favor. Most of the time, it works against them. Most of the time, it ruins the best options they have ever had come their way in a life.
This guy says it ruins their best option. Oh, this delusion. So I'm bringing this to y'all because y'all, we need to stay appraised. This is why we always have to study these males, because this is how they think. Every time as a woman, you're asking yourself, why are they doing that? Like, what is their problem? Because this is how they actually think. Okay. This is how they actually think. Hi, Barbed Wire. How are you? So Barbed Wire says the dude has an inaccurate perception of reality. What does he mean keeping the power? Who does he think is thinking about that? Exactly. He's like, they want to keep the power. Sir, no. If women are wanting males to chase, it's because we need to make sure that you're actually interested and not just wasting our effing time. Okay, because that's what you do otherwise. If these males don't put in extra effort to come get you, they just end up wasting your time. Okay, cheating all over the place. Over 70% of divorces are initiated by women because most of these males are garbage. Okay, so it's not a power play. It's like, look, are you interested or are you not? If you really want something, then you're going to go after it. If you don't, then leave it alone. You should have never even approached in the first place. That's what ruined the dating scene. Males continuing to approach anything and everything that was walking instead of actually just choosing one that they are actually interested in and sticking with that one and going after that one. They're going after a million here, there, and there. Okay. So now women are like, you know what? Like, if you're just sitting here, and it sounds like also that he's literally just sitting there texting these women. Like, he's like sending nonsense text. Like, who has time to waste texting back and forth with you? Like, who do you think you are? Like, what are we talking about? Like, and this is not a rich guy. This guy is out of shape, clearly, right? At least on camera, he doesn't look in shape, right? And he talks crap about women all day long. Like, who wants to deal with that? Y'all, they are delusional completely.
It's time. Do you guys not think there's girls keeping tabs on me that I went to high school with that see me now? They're kind of overweight now. They don't look so hot now.
Exactly, barbed wire. You don't want a psycho chasing you. Exactly. They're so psycho. It's like, who wants a psycho chasing you? Exactly, girl.
Doing so well now. Former party girls and stuff, and they're withered. And then there's me.
Yeah, guilty angel. He can't chase anything. He can barely breathe making this video. YouTube video sitting down.
I don't want to start to name good things about myself because it's just not necessary, but I am where I am, and it's nice. Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you very much. Man, yeah, they keep tabs on you. Yeah, and they're going to look back at the times and, oh my God, what if I just wasn't a fat slob and just stayed with him and listened to him and been with him? And oh my God, I'd be so much more attractive right now. I'd have an attractive man in my life right now. I'd probably have kids with this guy right now. And they're just killing themselves mentally. Now they're overweight. Now they're a single mama with an ugly ass kid. With an ugly ass dude. And they got to reap the rewards of absolutely nothing. They ain't reaping no rewards. So, yep, something else, isn't it? Something else.
He's so angry. Like, what is the problem? Just a single baby mama. If we were to ask him, how many women do you know that you've dated and are now single baby mamas? How many do you know? Name their names. Would he even be able to name a single name? It's like the fact that that's why women always say, and it's true, we can see it here. Males are so devolved that they don't evolve, right? Which means they don't learn, which means, oh, that one girl that rejected you in high school, let's take that all throughout our lives with us. Because why are you worried about what the women that have rejected you are doing? Like, oh, single moms, this, sir, they didn't want you. They didn't want you. Like, what is the problem? You're still thinking about that, making a whole YouTube about it. Like, looking, y'all, they're such psychos.
And yet, these women today think they're fire, bro. All these women today, egos the size of the roof. Egos to the roof, to the moon. Their egos are insane. Thinking they can make men chase and do all this stuff and feel so all like that, bro. And you know what? They succeed a lot of the time. And making a lot of men chase.
That now we get to the truth. He's mad that women succeed most of the time and a lot of these males chase. So maybe your anger is misplaced. Again, you're mad that you keep losing to other males because other males are willing to do what needs to be done that you don't want to do. That's not a woman's problem. That's very much a male's problem. So again, if you want to be chased and you're mad about not being chased, go date your bros. You sound gay to me. Honestly, I feel like this is a DL bro because all the whining, you're comparing yourself to women. Like you're not a woman, sir. You're not a woman. Like, why are you comparing yourself to women? You're not one. You could never be one. It's a dead end for you, you know? And still, even by comparing yourself to women, losing. Because that's what this whole video is about. Even when comparing himself to women, he's whining because he feels like he's losing. A lot of these women, they do end up getting chased and all they have to do is be pretty and nice. Sir, you're not a woman. Don't worry about what women are doing, what we have to do, because I'm tired of explaining to these males the things that women have to go through. Women already bring everything to the table. What do these males, because they even coined the terms, what do you bring to the table? The males coined that term. The terms that string along to form that question, that sentence, you coined that. What do you bring to the table? Well, sir, what do you bring to the table? Like, I'm tired of explaining the obvious to you airheads. Okay. Like, and these males, it's just like the jealousy, y'all. This is what we see. This is whenever we talk about male jealousy and that males are jealous. Okay. So now the truth comes out. A lot of them succeed and get these males to chase and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So you're not able to compete with your male counterparts. What do you want us to do about that? Girl, crazy.
So, to be honest, it's kind of a breath of fresh air for them sometimes when you don't, because it's like, bro, that's why they come back. They're not posting a story for some other dude that's chasing them, actually. They're posting the story for you because you didn't chase them. And every other guy that's in my DMs right now, they just don't make me feel it. But that guy that...
Oh my God, he thinks this guy thinks the world revolves around him and that all the women are actually thinking of him. But his duty in life is to humble these women, because how dare these women make him wait? How dare these women make him chase, even though he knows and he's sure that all these women have their lives revolving around him. Y'all, this is what a psychopath looks like. Literally, like, that's not even me just saying that. This guy is a psycho. This guy is the type of guy that will literally put hands on you. Okay. This guy is the type of guy that will literally lose his temper and punch a hole in the wall, because this way of thinking, not normal. That's not a sane person's way of processing information. What proof do you have for anything that you're even saying? Like, you're a complete psycho. If she wanted to talk to you, like, she would probably just tell you. And if she let you go, if she liked you at some point and was like, see you later, that's it. Like, where is he drawing all these conclusions from? Like, I know that I'm the one that you like it when I don't chase anyway, but then you come back, so I just have to like show you. This is a male that will literally end up putting hands on you, y'all. This guy right here. This is what he sounds like. Okay. A male that won't hesitate to put hands on you. Why? Probably because of several reasons. First of all, I honestly believe, and I'm not just saying it, I honestly believe this guy is DL. Like, there's no way this guy is not gay, because a straight male doesn't sit here trying to compete with women one-on-one like this. That's not normal within nature. It's not normal. Like, just because you can't compete with your bros, you're sitting here trying to compete with women. What are you talking about? Like, women are supposed to be chased. That's why if males are, obviously males are supposed to be the ones doing the chasing. Don't just choose whoever and be sleeping with whatever in the streets. That's why most women have stopped dealing with you altogether. You're supposed to chase, meaning, you know, that takes a lot of energy. You're not just chasing anything and everything, wasting all these women's time and spreading diseases all over the place. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay. That's what you haven't been doing. That's what you and your bros have not been doing. Like, what is so complicated to understand about that? Insane, y'all.
Didn't chase me? Where's he at? Let me post something to make him chase. Let me post something to make him watch my story so he can just see me and he can think about me. These are sick in the head, boy. I don't know what word you want to put on all this type of behavior, but it sounds pretty narcissistic to me.
Hi, Sonia. Thanks for joining. I like the world's smallest violins. Super insane. Sounds pretty narcissistic to me. So what do I tell y'all ladies all the time? The males project. Okay. So you have to listen to their insults, because based off of what they're insulting you with, they're literally telling you who they are. Okay. So they're calling you narcissistic or calling the woman narcissistic. There's a 99.9% chance that this male that you're dealing with is a narcissist. Okay. So they project a lot. And if you're processing through the information that they're giving you and you're asking yourself, well, that information doesn't make any, I don't get it because of this, because of that, you're dealing with a psycho. Just leave them there. Just leave them there. Okay. Imagine calling someone else a narcissist in the middle of a video that's specifically about you wanting women to chase you. But yet the women that aren't chasing you are the narcissists, not the person making a YouTube video specifically to complain because he's upset that women aren't chasing him. I can't. Mm-mm.
Sounds pretty insecure to me. It sounds like you're not wifey material to me. You're not ready to have a family and have the dogs around and the kids around and you staying on top of your looks and appearance and us going to events together and having a good time and chat with everybody else around and just having a good time. And here's me with my hot wife beside me and we're having just a grand old time. You couldn't possibly pull that off, could you? Little Goldilocks, you just couldn't possibly pull that off, could you? You just got to go get damaged. You just got to go end up in the worst possible case scenarios. It blows my mind. And it's because their egos are huge, bro. They'd rather resort to all these games because it's all about how a woman feels. It's all about how a woman feels. And for her, so many guys chasing after her per day makes her feel something. If she is just to go to one.
These males are insane. Sir, if there's a lot of guys chasing women per day, all that tells you is where the value is. The value is with women. If y'all wanted the value, you would have spent all the decades that you spent enslaving women, and instead of enslaving women, you would have developed your ability to have self-control. Okay. The males have no self-control. That's not our problem. Okay. They're chasing anything and everything. That's not our problem. Sounds like you. Sounds like what you just told your bros to do at the beginning of this video. And now you're mad at the very thing that you told your bros to do. Just come out the closet. You're like so epically, like you're so gay, you don't even know what to do with yourself. You're just walking around here super gay. You want to like be chased? Sir, that's a male. Males chase. Women don't chase. We don't have to chase for anything because we bring everything to the table while you bring nothing. So why would we chase? There's no reason. On top of that, there's so many of you males trying to talk to anything and everything. Why are we going to chase when there's so many of you doing that? There's no, you chase after something that you can literally like step out of your house and trip over a male just by stepping out of your house. Like, what is this guy talking about? This guy's wild.
Guy, no matter how attractive he is, she gets more out of all this other stuff going on. More emotional turmoil, more stuff. She feels better. But with that attractive guy, She's held accountable. She got to put in work. Guys, women are addicted to their phones. Women are addicted to all this validation and chasing and all this hooting and hollering and up and down and down and up. Women are so accustomed to this. It's like they're addicted to Minecraft or some shit, and it's just frying their brain. They're not becoming real women because they're not putting in the work. They're resorting to their games. That's the life they're living.
Sir, if you can't play the game, move out the way. Like, it's like all this whining and complaining. If you're having a hard time playing the game, move out the way, go date your bros. Okay. That's where the ones that can't play the game, that's where they're at. Okay. If you can't play the game, you don't get it, you have all these complaints, or just move out the way. Okay. Because one thing I can promise you is no woman is going to go chasing after you. They're not going to go chasing you. If you stop talking to her for long enough, she's on to the next dude. Okay. All you have to do is be gone for long enough for her to move on. And that's pretty much any woman. All you have to do is literally stay gone for long enough, and she's on to the next thing. So it's unnecessary complaining. If you can't play the game, you don't know what you're doing when it comes to, because basically that's what he's saying. He doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to women. If you don't know what you're doing when it comes to women, move out the way, come out the closet, go get your bros, to chase you, and move out of our way so we can see who the real men are, because you're not one. Like, I'm not understanding what's complicated about the math. I don't get it.
They'd be so much better, bro. Man, there's some fairly attractive women out there, bro. And if they were actually putting in the work, man, they'd be straight dime pieces, bro. A lot of women today, they're not even putting in the effort, man. They still look fairly good, but they're not putting in the effort, and they won't look that good for long. But if they were to put in the work and the effort, they focus more on hobbies outside of male attention, focus solely on their boyfriend or husband, they'd be much better, more beautiful, happier, stronger, more successful women. But what you get most of the time today, all these games, ranging from...
That doesn't make sense. So you're saying that women want males to chase. Doesn't that mean that they are focusing on other things that aren't just male attention? Like, I'm not understanding, like, the jealousy, it's on surreal levels. So for the ladies that are wondering, because I know there might be some ladies that still wonder, like, because I've gotten the question before, what does that mean? Like, it doesn't make sense what that means as far as like males are jealous of women. This is what it means. Males are jealous. They're literally jealous of women. They're just, I don't know, but they're literally just jealous of women. You can hear the jealousy in this guy. Like, it's like, sir, it's not that complicated. You're gay. Okay.
Teenage years to the 30s, bro. And games typically decrease once women start to get older because they start to understand what's important and they wake up a little bit. But that's when it's too late. It's too damn late now. What were you doing? Oh, well, I was just, I'll tell you what you were doing. You were being hypergamous, and you let it take control. You let it take over. You messed up. I don't know what else to tell you. Besides, where was your father at? Where was he? Where was your father at? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know where he's at. We don't know where he was at.
Where was your father at? Meanwhile, all the data shows that the people, the gender that's most impacted by the lack of presence of a father is the male. We reviewed that, I think 2 lives ago as well. So this is how you know, like, you're dealing with a male that not only is losing within his own patriarchy, he's losing. The competition, he's getting demolished. Okay. Other males are demolished. He's saying a few things. One of the things that he's saying is, look, I'm getting demolished by other males out here. I'm getting demolished by other males. I can't seem to catch women. The women seem to slip through my fingers. I'm getting demolished in this game. I can't keep up. I don't really want to play the game because I don't know how to play it. Okay. He's also telling us that he's literally DL. I mean, all the signs we've covered, like in like 2 or 3 lives now, and he checks most of the boxes for a DL male. I mean, this guy's gay. I'm like, look, if you're dating that many girls and you have all these complaints and you want them chasing you, sir, you're gay. Okay, you're batting for the other team. Go where, you feel the most comfortable. Okay, and leave us out of it. All right. It's totally insane. I'm not really understanding, like,
But there was many men you could have dated that would have helped you like a father. And I'm going to tell you guys something right now. I am officially retired from dating women who have daddy issues. I heard the words, not all that long ago, bro. This year, I have heard the words from a woman. I was in a talking stage with, and what did she say? You're like the father I never had.
You know what's funny? One of the main reasons I can think of that a woman would say that is if she doesn't actually like you. If she's not that romantically interested in you, then I could see something like that coming out of a woman's mouth. You see what I'm saying? Like, so he gives me vibes of maybe being someone that goes around trying to lecture women a lot. Oh, you should do this. You should do that. Why don't you do it this way? Why don't you do it that way? Because why would she see father in you if you're not giving fatherly vibes, like lecturing all over the place, super controlling? That doesn't make any sense, right? So he gives me like, yeah, exactly, Sonia, or he's lying. Because males lie as easily as they breathe. It's like, what were you doing? Hi, Lil something, Lil something. Hi, thanks for joining. Why would he like literally, these males are out of control. We're about to like hop onto the data and statistics because this guy doesn't know what's going on.
Well, I've seen this before. And I'm just being funny right now, guys. Like, yeah, women don't choose that fate. Sad that they didn't have a father, but I have seen this time and time again. And bro, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I have never once in my life had sustained success with a woman who didn't have a father in her life. They wrecked me every time. They screwed me over every single time. I done nothing but be the best man possible for them every single time. And you get done dirty, bro. Why? Because they cannot keep anything together. Most of them are dark-spirited. Most of them cannot regulate their own emotions. Most of them have some sort of disorder. And if not a disorder, they have an avoidance, a fearful, avoidant, dismissive attachment style that just completely wrecks everything. So, yeah, it's awful. And I just don't want to go through that stuff again. I'm good. I'm tired of that stuff. I'm good. Can y'all wake up? Because I'm awake. I've been awake. I'm just sick of that stuff. And I ain't chasing you either. So, yes, sir, half cooked.
Okay, sir, for someone to see you as their father, you have to be giving off vibes that are making them feel that way. So if I were him, I would be thinking, I wonder what vibes or what I'm doing that's making these women feel that way, especially when you are saying these are women that don't have a father, right? So that means they don't necessarily have a construct of what that would look like. So you have to be really doing something that's like triggering or something specific to make these women see you in such a way, because otherwise it doesn't make sense, right? And then, just like you males say to women all the time, well, maybe you should just choose better. Maybe you should just choose better. So maybe take your own advice. I don't know what to tell you, sir. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. If you can't deal with women, and to be honest, even the things that he described doesn't sound like fatherless, anything related to a woman having a father or not having a father. Okay. If you're gay, you're not going to know how to deal with women in a romantic relationship at that capacity, especially if you're jealous of women. Okay. Women by nature, if they say something, they're a lot of times they're going to be talking based off of things like instinct, based off of things like how they feel. And if you're taking that as, oh, very emotional, very this, sir, look, I keep having to repeat this to you. You're a gay male. Okay. Because you don't know how to interact with women. That's what I'm getting from all of this stuff. It's like, first of all, what are you doing to where these women? And you're saying you've had multiple experiences. After multiple experiences, the common denominator is you. So what are you doing to where these women are saying, you resemble a dad to me? That's weird. What are you giving off? Especially if you claim that these are women that don't have a preconceived notion of what that is. So you really have to be doing something kind of like specific, right? To be making them attach that to you. And now you're complaining all over the place. Sir, if you've had multiple of these experiences to the point where you're like, I'm so tired, you are the common denominator. So why are we not talking about that? I'm pretty confused. Hi, Mira. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, Mira. Hi, Soaking Bee. I can't remember if I said hi, Soaking Bee. Hi, Soaking Bee. How are you? So, y'all, we're going to move on to the actual data and statistics, because we have to see a contrast between the male species and why they keep getting left behind. They keep getting left behind, but on top of that, they're literally getting demolished by 5% of males. And then they'll complain, well, women only want the 5% of males. Well, women only want the 5% of males. Sir, no woman is going to want a male that's triggering daddy issues in her. It's like, you got to go to therapy and figure out what you're doing to trigger these women in such a way, if that's what you're claiming is actually happening. The response, the reasonable response, if your claims are even true, is not to sit here on YouTube complaining and blaming the women for the responses that are being triggered by you when you've had multiple reoccurrences of such a situation. When you've had multiple reoccurrences of such a situation, the only common denominator is you, sir. And then we're not really taking our own advice now, are we? Because when it comes to a woman, if it were a woman saying all of these things, all of you would jump in the comments section and start saying things like, well, you should just choose better. You should just choose better. Wah, wah, wah. Take your own advice and piss off, because you're literally totally gay anyway.
And that's not something I can help. So you still have to half uncook yourselves. Cook some chocolate chip cookies or something. I don't know. Bake something.
So we're not going to have uncooked jack squat, because there's so many males out here. It's ridiculous. And these males will chase, just to have a woman, they will chase after anything and everything. So if you're seeing like restrained women that are basically exercising self-control, it's because the women aren't wanting to be with these particular males. Okay. And they're wanting the top males. Okay. Because all these other males they're littered everywhere. It is not complicated. The males are graping turkeys. It's not hard. Okay. It's not hard. So we're not going to see anything, which is part of what makes him mad, because he already admitted that. Literally in the middle of his video, he's like, and they succeed. Remember y'all when he said, and the women succeed, they get a lot of these males to chase. He already admitted that the women succeed most of the time, and that's what makes him angry. He already admitted that. So if there's a surplus of you, you got to be like, males need to start being less emotional and more logical and more reasonable. If there's a surplus of you, no, we're not going to see anything. We're just going to move on to the next male. And that doesn't work out, well, we'll choose to be single. We'll choose to do something else. Like, it's not that complicated. Like, what is the problem? If you can't play the game, go date your bros. Seriously.
It might hit some sort of brain cell that triggers you to be the next Spider Woman or some shit. I don't know. Let's hope for it. But anyways, guys, that's it with this video.
Let's see if there's any worthwhile comments here. Look at this guy. This guy says, that's cool. They can ignore all they want. I don't care. Two can play that game. These are the incels, y'all. I'm like, sir, if you don't learn how to chase, you're just going to end up dying alone and being single. The same insult y'all try to insult women with, that's going to be your fate. Okay. Look at this guy. He says, at this point, I don't feel like I need to do anything to get a woman. They're playing many games. It's just exhausting. Okay, y'all. Okay. So we're doing, I mean, I guess women as a whole, this type of stuff makes me feel like, okay, because I think maybe women as a whole, we're pretty harsh on ourselves and on each other. And so we keep kind of evolving as a whole. We have like a ton of pick-me-shes and stuff, but as a whole, we kind of keep evolving. So if the males are feeling this way, then that means more and more women are literally choosing to not speak to these males. But that's not our fault. That's just, look, if there's not quality around, then there's not quality. I'm not chasing to get rejected. What did I tell y'all? It's the bottom of the totem pole. Okay. I thought I was the only one noticing this phenomenon. So more and more women are getting choosier. Right? More and more women are getting choosier, and they're getting mad about the fact that more and more women are getting choosier. They're addicted to being worshipped, this guy says. They're addicted to being worshipped. What? Like, what are you talking about? Oh my God, y'all. So they can't get over it. And I'm like, look, if you want to be chased, go date another male, because I don't really understand what the problem is. Look, this guy says, I get ignored all the time. A woman needs to earn her position, just like a man needs to with her. Sir, if you're getting ignored, the women don't want you. There will be no woman earning no position that she don't want. What is so hard? Like, they can't logically process through information. She doesn't want that position, which is why you get ignored all the time. She doesn't want you. Period. Like, if you're getting ignored and your problem isn't even the chasing, it's literally women are ignoring you. Goodbye, sir. Not wanted. You're not wanted. That's just the truth. Stop complaining and stop whining. Try dating your bros. You might have better luck in that circle. Like, duh. He goes on to say, I know for a fact women don't like masculine males. So he says he knows for a fact that women don't like masculine males. They like feminine guys who don't have any kind of backbone. You literally are saying that women need to earn their position. You don't have any backbone. You can't even like adequately court a woman. It's literally called courting. You can't even adequately go after what you want without sitting here in a comment section of another male, thirsting for validation from other males. Like, it doesn't even, like, their insults make no sense, right? The feminine guys who don't have any backbone. I look at most guys in relationships in public, and most of the time the woman is telling him what to do. Look, even me, if it's not a male that's going to do what I tell him to do, I'm not dealing with it. Because we're about to see in the next video, we're about to see all the stats. Okay. And these males, what's killing them is that they don't know how to submit. Like males, you got to learn how to submit because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing, and you have never known what you're doing. Look at this world. Look at this patriarchy. Look at the state of the world today. You can't lead. You're not leaders. Okay. So those males are coming to this realization. The ones that are being told what to do are coming to the realization. I either come to terms with being told what to do or I die alone. Because it's not in a woman's best interest to procreate with garbage. Like, I don't even know how I have to tell these males that. Like, there's nothing in it for us. We're better off just single. There's nothing in it for us because you don't bring anything. What do you bring? You bring nothing. You don't cook, you don't clean, you don't help with things. You're not empathetic. All you sit here on the internet is insulting women all day. You don't bring anything. It doesn't make any sense, right? He says, my father and grandfather are prime examples of letting women boss them around. So he actually had decent examples and still turned out to be a failure. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. I could never be like them, he says. So this guy says, holy smokes, this just started happening to me this year. Y'all, we're doing good. Ladies, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud. Okay, so this guy says, this just started happening to me this year. All of those years and all of those, like the whole full decade plus. Let me remind y'all, because I'm the queen of remembering. I'm like, it's Lilith all day for me. So you will not forget what you've done ever. Okay. All that like 10 plus years, right? Where women were saying like, okay, we'll do 50-50 if that's what you're saying that you need. Okay, we'll try to cook and clean if that's what you're saying that you want. But all we want in exchange is for you to be faithful, for you to be good people, for you to be, and you were massacring women all over the place, sleeping with 2, 3 women, 4 women all over the place, putting hands on women and children all over the place. And now that women are like, yeah, it's been a decade plus, and we tried all that. And what we've learned is the males are just degenerates. So no thanks. Now you want to complain and whine. Should I remind you that women have tried with you and you're a lost cause? That's just the truth of the situation. So it looks like we're doing pretty good. If that's what they're noticing, y'all, I guess the women are, girl, Pygmishas, y'all better catch up. This is the garbage you're going to be left with right here. This is what you're going to have to deal with, Pygmishas. If you don't get with the program, this is what you're going to have to deal with, these males right here. So this guy goes on to say, these women want you to grovel at their knees and they get angry at you because you got to grow some. All of this babying, that's how you ended up weak like this. Like, this is weak behavior. This is weak male mentality. Okay, grow some. Stop. So anyway, let's read like 1 or 2 more and then we'll move on. Regardless whether they have a father or not, hear me out. Even if she has a father in her, look, this is what I said at the beginning, y'all. Like, it's always something. Every time I think they can't get worse, they get worse. They find something else. They just find a reason to not improve. They find a reason to not even try to do better or be better. It's like, how unattractive as a species can you get? Like, you're just so weak. Like, always complaining, never solutions. It's like, what is wrong with them? It's like, look, here we have, even if she has a father, so it's no longer fatherless behavior. Even if she has a father in her life, if her father's role is minimal and her mom does most of the education, she'll end up the same as if she had no father at all, right? That's what he's saying. There are plenty of households where the fathers are simps. They're still going on with this, calling each other simps, right? Even though most of them don't have any women. It's like you're calling the ones that have women simps, and you don't have any women. Make that make sense. You literally don't, like, no woman is choosing you. No woman wants to be with you, but you're calling the males that do have women simps. You're jealous. That's jealousy. And you need to work that out in therapy. That's jealousy. Okay, that's what jealousy sounds like. That's what jealousy looks like, right? There are plenty of households where the fathers are simps who treat their daughters like princesses. Girl, what? So treating your daughter like a princess means the father is a simp? What are you supposed to treat her like? What are you supposed to treat your daughter like? I'm not like the man, y'all. This is the caliber of males that's out here today. So I say my recommendation is more and more of you ladies should just don't deal with dating any of them. If they don't do the maximum as far as chasing and they don't come with financial benefit to where the contract makes sense financially, just don't. Because this is what you're going to be putting up with. And most of them don't even make $30K a year, sitting here posting these comments. Like, sir, how much do you even make? Do you even make enough money to be saying this nonsense on YouTube? Clearly not. Okay. So I say, I think, and I'm hoping the numbers are going to continue to get even better, because clearly we're making an impact. What? I didn't even know, like, so more and more women are just like, more and more women are just like, bye. Period. Now that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. This guy says, don't get angry at you like a child. Is this a lady? The breakup of my 5-year relationship has left me heartbroken. I've tried everything to rekindle things, but so far nothing has worked, and I'm finding it hard to move on. Okay. Why are you posting that in the middle of a male's space? That doesn't make any sense. Look, the only support she got was from another woman, y'all. Look at this. This another woman. So it's only women. It's hard to say goodbye to someone you love. Okay, this is just like women. I don't know what they're doing in the middle of the male space saying that. What are we doing here? What are we doing in the middle of the male space? This guy is literally making video after video of everything I'm going through right now. This is crazy. Of everything I'm going through right now. Okay, y'all. So we're doing good. I guess. But look at the leaders that the males have versus like, no, like the males just need better. I don't know what they're going to do, but we're doing good. So one step at a time, the pygmalions get with the program, because if you're on a dating app, for example, are you well? If you're in a dating app and you're a woman, are you well? Because this is what's on those dating apps. You see how more and more women are no longer even on those dating apps. Let's get with the program. Okay? Or you get left behind. And trust me, you don't want to be left behind with nothing but the males by your side. That will do nothing for you. Okay? You don't want to be left behind with nothing but males by your side. Don't do it. Don't say IPGG didn't tell you. Don't do it. All right, y'all. Let me see. Let me share the next one. Hold on, y'all. The real data, because that's just ridiculous. The real data. Okay. I always forget that I have to pull it up on my phone too. Let's see.
Something strange is going on with boys. In many countries around the world, young men are more likely to be less educated than women, to die from overdose, drinking, or suicide. Vote differently. A recent Financial Times report found that while young women are on average more progressive than their parents, as you'd expect from young generations, boys are becoming more...
Let's hear that again, because he started in hot. He went in hot, okay? Because that's not what this other guy has been telling us in his video. That's not what he's been telling us this whole time. That other guy in the other video has been telling us that women need to get with the program, that we need to get with the program, that we're the ones that need to submit, that we're the ones that need to be chasing males. That's not what he told us. So, sir, what did you say? What did you say that data was again? What did you say that statistic was again? Can you repeat that for me? Thank you.
Conservative. Now, it's very difficult to define what it means to be conservative. Something strange is going on with boys. In many countries around the world, young men are more likely to be less educated than women, to die from overdose, drinking, or suicide, and even to vote differently. A recent Financial Times report found that while young women are on average more progressive than their parents, as you'd expect from young generations, boys are becoming more conservative. Now, it's very difficult to define what it means to be conservative in one country, let alone around the world. But some experts think that one issue in particular could be driving this divide: gender equality. So why is this happening?
So what did he say? Because we're going to replay that again. Okay, because ladies, if you're still letting yourself be bamboozled by the male species, what are we even doing? What are we even doing? Hi, Shay. Thanks for joining. Oh, thanks for the message. Let me see what Shay says here. So Shay says, I asked one to clean his nails. No. You asked him to clean his nails. I already don't even know where this is going. I asked one to clean his nails. He refused, saying that he wasn't trying to be feminine. I always dodged his touch, asking why I'm not affectionate. Ugh. Y'all. Oh my gosh, Shay, that's just I hope he's an ex, because what? I hope he's an ex, girl, I hope he's an ex, because what? Like, when I was in high school, I think it was high school. When I was in high school, there was a male that would do this thing where he would take a knife. Like, he would use a knife, and he would use the knife to kind of pick underneath, like pick the dirt off from underneath his fingertip. And I met another male that did that while I was in college as well. He would y'all, I was like, when I saw that, that was it. That was it for me. Like, I knew, I was like, this is not going to be my future. You are not my future. Most definitely not. Like, he would literally, like, I've seen 2 or 3 of them do that. I don't know what it is with the knife, but then he would literally take the knife and you literally use that to pick underneath his fingernails. Girl. Oh, they're so they're so disgusting. It's totally insane. Yeah. Shay says, no, I left him in friend zone. I couldn't do it. Yeah, I'm glad you left him in the friend zone, because, girl, what? Oh my God. Disgusting.
Women are hardwired to get their needs met through a man.
Women in America and London, how combative they are and how hard it is for them to submit.
So I think my sister is her husband's property. Yes.
Many unread misogynist influencers like these are radicalizing young men.
Andrew Tate is definitely in the conversation for the most dangerous person alive.
But I spoke to some experts who think there's a lot more going on.
Men who are struggling, who can't get status, who then feel insulted when this lower status group, women, is being assertive.
And while they don't...
Oh, that was bars. What did she say? She said males, she said what I just said in the last video. Males who are struggling, who cannot get status, who feel insulted when this lower status group seem to be doing better than they are. What do I say in almost every live? It's because they're not able to compete with other men. They're losing. They're literally losing, because there's no way that you think it makes sense to sit here trying to compete with women. What's that going to do for you? They're losing, right? And now they feel like, okay, we're losing to other men, and now we're losing to women too. Well, sir, you don't, you don't have to be losing. Just go date your bros and then you'll be fine. Okay, period.
Disagree. What they have to say might surprise you.
Men aren't wrong to feel like their issues aren't getting much attention. No, they're not getting much attention.
I reached out to who I think might just be the best experts on this topic. Richard Reeves, the president of the first and maybe only think tank in the world focused on the problems of boys and men. Alice Evans, talking with me from Seoul, as she's traveling the world precisely to write a book on this topic titled The Great Gender Divergence. And Neil Shiminsky, a professor who interacts daily with the young generation and is famous on TikTok for his videos on these issues. So let's jump right in. Lately, we have seen a lot of studies showing a growing gender divide. Some have even said that Gen Z is two generations, not one, because on some topics like gender, boys and girls have very different opinions. So what's going on?
So if we look at South Korea, China, the US, and also across Europe, we see that women, young women, tend to express more progressive views, concern for gender bias and also racial bias, whereas young men, not all, but some, may express concerns that gains for women's rights come at men's expense. There's this idea that women's rights might be a threat. And then also in some parts...
Here's what I don't understand already. What I don't understand already is the fact that we're starting off with stating that the concerns of males is that women are progressing at the expense of males. So let's go ahead and see what they come up with when it comes to this, because I'm already like, if this is happening around the world, all over the West, then that should tell you who the problem is. Okay, that should tell you that, look, the people that you've been assuaging this whole time are done being assuaged by you. What's the problem? You're going to force people to be assuaged by you? You're going to force women to be enslaved by you when we all know that your whole patriarchy can't do without women? Are you well? So let's see what they come up with, and hopefully I can hold my composure. Okay.
Europe, the idea of being concerned about migration or foreigners.
So are young men just becoming more conservative?
Well, it comes back to what we mean by these terms, because there are other surveys which show that young men are just as likely to support gender equality as older men, right? So they're in favor of gender equality, but they're turning against feminism. And so what that means is that in their minds, at least, those two things are no longer the same. They're not synonymous.
Neil, and this is one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you. That is, you actually teach these young generations and talk with them every day. So do you also see this divide in your day-to-day job?
Yes, there's absolutely a gender divide. I see it in the students that I teach. I also see it, I should mention, I have a 15-year-old daughter. I attended her middle school, so her 8th grade graduation when she was 14. And each of the students was asked to...
Exactly, Sonia. There's no such thing as gender equality when one gender doesn't even have a womb. Exactly. And there's no such thing as gender inequality either. Okay. When the gender that you're trying to defend is literally doing worse because they're choosing to do worse, that is not an inequality issue. It's like, do we have to go back to, like, I'll look it up while it's going, because apparently we have to go back to the rudimentary definitions of these words that we're choosing to use and just plaster all over the place that are literally not working for you, because women aren't idiots. Okay. They think we're stupid. No, sir, we're not dumb. Okay. Historically, you've enslaved women. You've made it to where women weren't able to work, which is the only reason you had any access to the amount of women that you had before. That's the only reason. It's not because we were dumb, and it's not because we were choosing you. Okay. There is no such thing as gender inequality when it comes to males, because the males are choosing to not go to school. The males are choosing to not work. It is not because of a lack of there are the opportunities that are out there. It's not a discrimination issue. It's not an issue where the companies are specifically only hiring women. That's not what's happening. So for these males to come here using these trigger terms as if the rest of us are like, what do you think is going on here? I need you males to come keep up with the times, evolve or die, literally.
To include an inspirational quote in a video that played before the ceremony. And the most popular figure to quote was Andrew Tate.
People have come up with various theories to explain this divide, like on-radicalization or backlash against women's rights, and we'll get to all of these. But first, I want to highlight something sometimes missing in the general conversation, and that's that young men really have some issues. And you wrote a whole book about it, so I want to know your response to what I think is the most common reaction you might get. Men's issues? Really?
Yes, well, really is that's quite a polite one. One of the interview I did, the first question was, when did you first start hating women? And so there is that kind of just that sense. The fact that you're focusing on boys and men means that you're somehow against women and girls, right? That's the zero sum framing.
So y'all, you see, this is why I can't take males seriously, because males are a joke. You're a joke. Okay, so they've been throwing around this term gender inequality. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm not understanding. Do these males don't know the definitions of the words that they're using? Are they just stupid? Are they just trying to pretend like they're stupid? Or do they just think that we're stupid? Which one is it? Okay, because I'm not understanding what's going on here. A simple Google search to the word inequality to see what that word means. Inequality. The definition of inequality means a lack of fairness or justice. That's what gender inequality means, a lack of fairness or justice. Who is stopping the males from going to school? Who is stopping the males from working? Who is stopping the males from doing any of these things that women are doing currently? Oh, okay. So then why do we keep calling it gender inequality? Are y'all retarded? Are you males dumb? Like, what are we doing here? You keep playing games, playing in women's faces and thinking that that's going to get you somewhere. Where are we getting this term gender inequality from? Like, this is what I'm saying. They keep trying to address this issue in the same way that they did for women, without understanding or taking into enough consideration that, look, these males aren't women. When we were addressing these issues with women, gender inequality was literally and actually gender inequality. That's what it was. Women weren't allowed to work. Okay, they had to stay in the house, cooking, cleaning, doing all this nonsense, while a patriarchy was being built by you, degenerate males, a patriarchy that at the end of the day, you couldn't even keep going. You can't even keep going without the women interceding. So what are we talking about here? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, are they even trying? I don't even know if they're actually being serious. It's like, there's no way you're being serious. Are you even trying? Like, or is this a joke? Right? They're joking.
that is such a problem, I think, in this whole debate, which is the presumption you can only do one thing at a time, right? We can't think two thoughts at once. And there's still a huge amount we need to do on behalf of women and girls, especially in senior positions like in politics and boardrooms and technology and engineering and so on. There's still a lot to do. It's not as if somehow all the problems of women have been solved and we ignore them and now turn our attention back to men. It is that we need to do both. And the last thing I'll say is that we shouldn't, in the end, probably separate out those problems, because men and women, to some extent, do rise or fall together in families and in communities. So it's a world of floundering men is very difficult.
And sir, piss off. We don't rise or fall together. No, this whole video is about the fact that the males specifically are the ones falling. That's what this whole video is about. And again, if you males insist on not keeping it all the way real, you're gonna keep falling and failing and flailing. Okay, it's gonna keep happening. No, we don't fall or rise together. No, that's not how that works. That's why more and more women are saying no to you, because they don't want to fall with you. All they have to do to not fall with you is say no. No, we're not gonna bring more kids here. This looks stupid. No, we're not going to date you. You're a loser. That's literally it. That's all we got to do. So no, it's not like a together thing. No, fix it for yourselves. Don't drag us into your crap. Okay. Exactly so, King B. Not to mention that the actual definition of the term inequality is something that women are still facing till today. So why are we focused on anything related to males that are failing and flailing off of their own choice? Off of the fact that that's what they're choosing to do, just because we're seeing now that, look, all of your males are weak. They're weak. Okay, that's the truth. And without violence, you can't do jack squat because you're weak. Over 90% of your males, there's only one word for it: weak. They're weak. Okay, so let's just be so for real. Women, we're still fighting with these actual inequalities. Real actual inequalities. I just heard a story I watched on YouTube about this male doctor guy, and he was like, long story short, assessing women that, I think he was a surgeon actually, assessing women that would go in for surgery with him. Not only that, he ran over, what sparked the whole thing, an investigation, was that this male was intoxicated, and he was driving while intoxicated, ran over a woman and killed her. I believe this was in Korea. Yeah, this was in Korea. Ran over a woman and killed her. So then there was, of course, a whole investigation into his life and everything else, right? And it was found out that, okay, this guy was a doctor, but he is no longer a doctor because I think he got his licensing revoked or something like that, but he was still practicing. And he was, they found 10 women, I think it was 10 or 11 women that he had assessed while those women were incapacitated because those women had come in for surgery. And how do we know this? Because he recorded the whole thing. He recorded it, sent it to his bros, him and his bros, chilling, watching the footage, egging each other on in the messages and everything. Okay. And then guess how much time they gave him for unaliving a woman and for literally causing, because 2 of those 10 women apparently unalived themselves when they found out what happened. They just couldn't take the trauma. They unalived themselves. And guess what this guy got? He got 16 years. That's it. He got 16 years in prison. He's probably not going to serve the whole time, the whole 16 years. And he already tried filing once to see if they could shorten his sentence from 16 years. Complete garbage. But yet we're sitting here talking about how to baby males even further. The number one predators to women, the ones that are literally causing the most crime within society. We're sitting here talking about there's gender inequality towards them. I don't get it. Is this a joke? Is this a comedy skit? Like, what's happening here?
To imagine as a world of flourishing women, or vice versa. And I think that was one of the central insights of the women's movement.
Absolutely. I think this is a really critical issue. Many people feel that they're struggling. So right now here in South Korea, women face the largest gender pay gap in the OECD. They face massive discrimination at work. They feel there's that women are struggling. Meanwhile, South Korean men have mandatory conscription for the war in North Korea, and every single year, 100 men commit suicide during that mandatory conscription. I mean, it's absolutely horrific, hierarchical, and brutal. So both sides have real grievances and difficulties. On top of that, many young Korean men are struggling to find brides. They're struggling to achieve status in a very competitive society. Their parents have invested so much in their education, and now they're unable to buy a house. So, everyone is having a really tough time in a status competition game. So I am 100% with you that it's important to connect to people and learn about different life worlds and learn about and build compassion and support for one another.
So what issues do men face? And I'd like to start with education, because
what I'm confused about what she said is that, like, okay, so you are comparing it's like they're trying to justify the behaviors of males, which is what I don't understand. You're comparing a systematic issue that the males themselves put in place because they keep starting the wars. And now they have to fight in the wars that they start, okay, to the fact that the males are raping and unaliving women and children. We're comparing the fact that, like, males are raping and unaliving women and children with no consequence, little to no consequences, to the fact that males have to go fight in the same wars that they themselves start. I'm not understanding. So I don't understand where we're going with that. So to them, these two things are comparable, because it's like, do they not understand that, like, okay, so what it sounds like to me is that you're justifying males going around unaliving and raping women and children. It sounds to me like you're justifying it. Oh, because they have to go into war and encryption, and they're going through such a hard time, they're forced to go into war. So they're justified in unaliving women and children. They're justified in raping women and children with no consequence. Are you well? Like, what are we even talking about? These things are not even comparable. They're not even comparable. Insane.
Some of the findings you have there are mind-boggling.
Boys and men are behind in education at every level, from the age of 5 through to the age of 25, in every advanced economy and in pretty much every subject area. You can choose your metric, but you'll get the same story. And it's very interesting that it is pretty much a global phenomenon. And what that means is not just something about the American education system, or the Spanish education system, or the German education system. And interestingly, in Scandinavia, that's where you see the biggest education gaps. Men have fallen the furthest behind in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland, which are very, very gender egalitarian countries. So that's a pretty consistent story, is that if you take the gaps that existed, say, in the 1970s in favor of men, they're at least as big now the other way around, across the advanced world. And even in many developing countries and Middle Eastern countries, the girls are now ahead of the boys. So it's not just advanced economies now. It's like there's a worldwide gender gap, essentially.
Why is this happening?
I think one big reason is that girls will typically just mature a little bit earlier than boys. So their brains develop a bit earlier. They're not smarter than boys. So on the tests of intelligence is really...
No, they are smarter. And you need, like, unless these males are able to keep it all the way 100. Look, women are smarter than you. Males are physically stronger than women. Women are smarter than you. That's how it goes. Women are mentally smarter than you. Males are physically stronger than women. If they can't even accept this fact, then where do they think they're going? They're just spewing a bunch of nonsense. No, they are smarter than you. That's why you're seeing these differences. Okay. It's not just because women mature earlier than males. That's not the only reason why. Because if that were the only reason why, then we wouldn't be seeing that over 90% of all violent crimes and unalivings of women and children is done by who? The male species. We wouldn't be seeing that turnout. We wouldn't be seeing that reflected in the numbers. It doesn't make sense, sir. It does not make sense. You think we're stupid, we're not. Okay, that's why your numbers and your birth rates continue to plummet, because you keep playing games with information and data that does not make sense.
No gender gap at all, no. But in terms of grades and graduation rates and so on, young women and girls are typically doing better. And it seems to be that's like they just enter it, they hit puberty earlier, that develops part of their brain called the frontal cortex earlier. So girls aren't smarter than boys, but they do get their acts together a bit earlier than boys. And the education system really rewards that, as it should. But it means that to some extent, girls are at a bit of a natural advantage, especially in adolescence.
So what happens when these men leave school, when they enter the economy?
Well, first of all, if they don't do as well in education, they will struggle to find employment and good employment. That is not true for their fathers. Their fathers may well have been able to just do okay at school and get a decent job, but those jobs for men have very significantly declined.
So, for example, here in England, house prices have skyrocketed.
He's in such denial, Sonia, like it's insane. The level of denial is like out of this world. It's like, what? They'll struggle to get jobs if they don't get a degree. And you're telling me that they didn't know that when they dropped out of school? Did they not know that when they dropped out of school? You're trying to justify that? Like, so you now see that all of the challenges that males are facing is of their own doing. No one's stopping. There is no inequality when it comes to males because no one's stopping them from going to school. That's a choice that they're making. That's a choice that they're making, resulting in even more of a gender gap. Sir, piss all the way off. Because if you're not going to keep it real, then what are we even talking about here? What are we even talking about here? That's like women saying, no, most women are more physically stronger than scratch the more. That's like women saying, no, most women are physically stronger than males. Delusional. If you can't even accept basic facts, then you don't even stand a chance. What are we talking about here?
And young people's wages, even though wages are rising, it's much, much harder for young people to buy a house. And that's the case in many European capitals, that young people are unable to buy housing. Earlier this year, I was in Spain. A lot of Spanish young people and also Italians are on temporary contracts. Young Italian men at 30 still living with their parents.
Is this a struggle?
I heard about that when it comes to Italy, that like the women don't really want to date those males because like those males are literally still living with their parents. But I also heard that the males stay living with their parents because I might be wrong about this, but from what I've been seeing, because the culture is that the moms in Italian families do everything for the male. So the moms in Italian families will literally cook, clean, do laundry. Like the male doesn't really have to do anything. So a lot of these males end up just staying there in the home. And if women are, the younger generation of women are getting more progressive and are seeking even more opportunities and equality, well, it only stands to reason that there's going to be a huge mismatch there. Okay, because you're going to be looking for someone to replace your mom. And the women are saying, I don't want to replace your mom. I'm not your mom. Okay, pull your weight or piss off, So you're going to have more of that gap that's building. And now it's the same thing that's really going on in the US as well. That's a big part of it, right? You're going to have more and more of that gap. But especially in this case scenario in Italy, because from what I've seen, the males stay at home not because they can't afford a house. They particularly stay at home because the role of the mother within those structures, specifically, regardless of the male's age, is cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, doing all these things. And the younger generation of women are saying, that sounds stupid. I'm not going to do that. Period. So this is the case.
Only in comparative terms. What I mean is, yes, they're doing worse than their fathers, but compared to women, they're still earning more.
That's a great question, and it depends. There does vary by country. So the US is quite unusual in the fact that there's been this absolute drop in male earnings, right, for the bottom half, let's say, of the labor force. That's not true in other countries. In other countries, they've at least seen some wage gains. But in all countries, they've seen a significant shift in their relative position relative to women. Now, of course, that's the inevitable and positive consequence of more equality, right? If women are doing better, we want that gap to close. But it's easy.
Y'all, he's not even being honest about that. He literally hesitates. He can't say the words. We want that. Like, these males are garbage. Even their leaders are garbage. It's like, what am I even seeing? You're not even being for real. You're not even being serious. I can't even take you serious. What? Sir, why are you stuttering? What is this? Where's the stuttering coming from? Do you want it or not? Okay.
For people to adjust to that world of greater relative equality if they're also feeling like they're doing absolutely better off. They're absolutely better.
So we covered education, we covered the economic situation, but there's more to life than the economy. So how are men doing on other metrics? And you mentioned this study in your book that found men who commit suicide were likely to use words like useless and worthless to describe themselves, which really breaks your heart when you read it.
I think this is where a lot of the real tragedy lies. And so you're quite right that male suicide victims, and there are a lot. I mean, in the US, we lost 40,000 men last year to suicide, and 4 times as many men as women. And you're right that those the two words they most commonly.
Look, I'm sorry, but when they talk about this suicide thing, even I'm a doctor and I don't feel bad at all, because the first thing I think of when they talk about that is like, oh, that's weird, because I just read an article yesterday, a research article yesterday, and it turns out that more males have increased the rates at which they unalive women and children. It turns out that, as we all know, most mass school shootings, if not all school shootings, hopefully I don't get demonetized for that, is done by who? The male species. It's a male that's doing that. Okay. So it actually makes me think, we might just be lucky if they just take themselves without trying to take everybody else with them. Okay. So no, you're trying to play the world's smallest violin and, oh yeah, mama. Meanwhile, it's your same males that are trying to take everybody else with them. It's not like they're just doing it to themselves. They're literally trying to take women, children. It's an issue here in the US reoccurringly, where they'll go to schools and hold up the whole schools, right? And tons of people go down with them. So how am I supposed to sympathize with such a species? Like, sympathy is not coming when every other headline is of a male doing something. Even the male celebrities, what's his name? Shannon Sharp, that degenerate male that doesn't understand the word no. Okay, just because she's working does not mean you become a degenerate who doesn't understand the word no, who doesn't understand boundaries. That's why you got played. Okay, she's working, that's her job. That doesn't give you an excuse for becoming a degenerate, for not understanding the word no. But yet these types of males right here want us to sit here and feel sorry for the male species. Sir, it's not possible. It's not possible, because even with the stats that you're listing, over 90% of all violent crimes is committed by you. So how are we supposed to feel bad for the species that's committing most violent crimes and unalivings of women and children? I don't feel anything. I'm supposed to, but you take it away. Null and void.
Use the men who commit suicide are useless and worthless to describe themselves. And that sense of not having a clear purpose, not having a clear sense of why you would be needed, I'm pretty sure that it's a human universal need to be needed. And I would say that for
No, see this, they always get this wrong also. Because I don't know, like, what's the plan? Like, what are we trying to do here? They always get this wrong as well. Okay. If it's a universal need to be needed, which it's not a universal need to be needed. But if you're talking about a purpose, right? Having a purpose is different. It's separate. It's not the same thing as being needed. Okay. Your purpose doesn't have to directly correlate with you being needed by somebody. If you are feeling like you just have to be needed by someone else to the point where you enslave them for years, make it to where they can't work, harass these children to the point where these children are growing up and they saw your crap and they're not willing to participate anymore, then there's something wrong with that logic now, isn't there? Okay. It's not, the issue isn't, oh, you need to be needed. It's not even that there's something wrong with wanting to be needed, even though it's like, no, don't lump us all in the same bucket. We don't all feel like we have to be needed, right? But even if that's the case, it's not even like there's an issue with that, okay? And they keep missing the ball, right? The point is, if you lack a purpose, you want a purpose, you want to feel needed, right? Make yourself useful. Because my question is, you want to be needed, you don't have a purpose, but yet you refuse to make yourself useful. How's that supposed to work? You think someone's just going to come and hand usefulness over to you? That's what this patriarchy has lied to you about. And now that the world has to evolve or die, because as nature evolves, so do humans and every other species that resides within nature. They all have to evolve. So if you can't make yourself useful, if you can't evolve, sounds like a you problem. Sounds like this is your patriarchy coming all the way back around to bite you in the behind. Right? You want to be useful, make yourself useful. Okay?
a lot of men right now, it's not clear to them that they are needed. You know, do their kids need them? Does their wife or girlfriend need them? Does the labor market need them? Who needs them? Are they needed? Are they necessary?
Nobody. Nobody needs them if they're not making themselves useful. If you make yourself useful, then maybe someone might need you. No one needs anyone, right? That's just a mentality thing. No one needs anyone. It's not even healthy to think in that way. It's more of a want. But because they can't, if you say wanted, do kids want them? Do women want them? It heightens the bar. It makes the bar higher, because wanting means definitely you're not needed, right? That's the bar they're supposed to be getting to, is the wanting, not the needing. Because in reality, the truth is, no, you're not needed. Okay. If you want to be needed, you got to make yourself useful. You don't just sit there, well, no one needs me, let me go ahead and unalive myself, and then you blame everybody else. If you're not making yourself useful, sir, no, you're not needed. Okay. Even if you were making yourself useful, you're kind of not needed either way, but at least we can see more use from you, right? More purpose in your existence, which is what you're actually lacking, is purpose. Okay. No one hands over purpose to people. That's not something that's handed over. Okay. Find it, build it, chase it. That's how you get to it. Okay. What are you males not understanding about that? What's so hard about that to understand? Oh, did your patriarchy lie to you and tell you that just for existing as a male that you have purpose, and now you're finding out that it was a lie? And now you're finding out, oh, good time's over because nature is evolving. We evolve or we can't be here anymore. And now you're finding out that it was a lie, that you actually have no purpose here. These are the actual questions. Okay.
This leads me nicely to another explanation I have often found.
Exactly, Tabby. It's like, go fill out some job applications. Make yourself useful. Build a house. Exactly. You know, instead of talking trash about women, learn how to treat women, learn how to be nicer people, learn how to be decent individuals, make yourself useful. Like, otherwise, no one's going to find you useful. No one's forced to find you useful, especially if you're not. Like, what is going on here? Ridiculous.
By the way, these are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they're all interconnected. But in any case, it has more to do with cultural reasons. The idea that while patriarchy has pressed women down, it has also propped men up. And now that the system is changing, women are finally rising, but men are kind of falling.
When people ask me these questions about the anxiety and the crisis of masculinity, masculinity is always in crisis. We are always fearful that we are not as manly and masculine as our fathers and grandfathers. Both of my grandfathers were manual laborers in mining. They could diagnose and fix cars with their bare hands. I don't have those abilities. I can't possibly live up to whatever standard they embody.
So feminine of you.
It's incredibly feminine of me. Yes, I work in a college and
No, it's not feminine of you. Like, see, they look down on women subconsciously. They can't even help themselves. They can't even help themselves. So feminine of you. The fact that he can't fix cars, he can't use his hands to do jack squat. That's a feminine trait, huh? And this is why you're failing. You don't even know yourselves. You're not even trying. That's not a feminine trait. That's a useless trait. You're useless. Okay. That's not a feminine trait. Okay. So what are you doing now? If you're not able to use your hands, did you evolve? Or are you doing something else? What are you doing? They can't even help themselves. It's insane.
talk for a living. But I think that historical context can provide some comfort that, actually what we're experiencing right now is totally normal.
I take your point that everybody always worries about a crisis of masculinity, but at the same time, there's obviously been something extraordinary that perhaps we have never seen in history with the Me Too movement and the feminist movement since the 70s. So I take your point, the masculinity is always in a crisis, but maybe sometimes there is a crisis.
I mean, fair enough. Certainly we've never seen this level of gender equality. The way that I like to discuss this then is don't look at it in terms of what you've lost. Look at it as an opportunity. Look at what you stand to gain. So sure, men are no longer the default breadwinner. That means that we can be something else, that there's room there to have discussions with our partners, with our families, to explore the possibility of working part-time, of being a stay-at-home father.
Heck no.
These are opportunities.
I don't know, y'all. I can't. Like, blame it on your patriarchy, bruh. Heck no. No. Okay. All jokes aside, these males are clueless, right? I don't know if it's just like I don't want to, like, I'm trying not to be mean, but they make it too easy. It's like, sir, like, have they not looked at the data? Are they not aware that most women that find themselves in abusive relationships are women that, in fact, bring in more money than the male that they're with? Do they not understand, or are they not aware of the fact that, and the statistic, and the fact that the research supports the statistics, that the more educated the woman, the less in her favor it is to be with a male that's less educated than her and that makes less money than her, because the rates of abuse go up? Do they not understand this? Are they just playing dumb? Are they just playing stupid? Like, I'm not understanding how they are fixing their mouth to say things that don't even make sense. Like, you're saying this stuff on a whole interview, encouraging the males to be losers, justifying loser behavior, and acting like you don't even know what the data in and of itself says. Acting lost and delusional as to what the data says. Well, maybe the males can just be part-time. Are you insane? Do you think you're talking to a bunch of women? These are males we're talking about. These are males that we're talking about. Women have tried that. And you know what we've learned? That the rates of abuse go up. If the women makes more than the males, the rates of cheating, the rates of abuse towards the women and the children skyrocket. Now, what sense does that make? Mwah, mwah, mwah. I mean, it's like, can you come up with something that's like at least going to be challenging for me to like debate you on? Like, can we at least pretend like we're on the same mental playing field? Because you're coming here saying nonsense as if they're talking like the males are saints. Like, these are just the best species ever. Like, these males just deserve everything good. They're so awesome. All we have to do is, sir, are you insane? Like, what? Like, what are we talking about here? It's insane.
Is that being the default breadwinner denied men?
I think that within this framework, you can add the backlash explanation. So the idea that we are seeing a pushback against women's rights.
Okay, so I think there are two elements. So first of all, if we look at education, women tend to be more educated than men. But I don't think that in itself is causing the problem. The backlash is when men feeling like they're economically struggling compared to other men. So men care about their status relative to other men. So if a man is, in inverted commas, a loser, so if he's unable to get a house, a nice job, a nice car, and keep up with other men, then he may feel that sense of strife. And one of the biggest blowbacks to inability to achieve status or relative status among men, it's not just that you can't afford it, you can't have the lifestyle that you feel entitled to, but that you may become unattractive towards women. So men who think that their fathers were in a better position to them now, and then they're told, oh, that more men are remaining single, it's that sense of being snubbed on the dating market, that sense of being unwanted by men, that hurts men's egos. So I don't think it's about all men failing, because some men, in Munich and Berlin, they're on a lot, they're earning a lot of money. There's still a gender pay gap where men typically earn more than women, right? So some men are doing fantastically well, right? But some men are struggling. And also,
if I can jump on that,
Exactly. So, they can't keep up with their bros, but yet every conversation that these bros are having, they're comparing themselves to women. Sir, women are not your issue. Your issue is that you're getting demolished by the 5% of males. They're demolishing you. That's the problem. That's the problem. I wouldn't look twice at a male that's not a 5%er. It's not worth my time. That's the problem that you're having. So all of this rigmarole, maybe we should just have the work and have males work part-time. Do we look insane to you to trap ourselves? Hopefully not. We're trying to get the youngins to understand what we're saying here as well. Trap ourselves in the midst of four walls with a predator, an uncontrolled predator, okay, that has an ego bruise, because if he's working part-time and doing all this stuff, that means he can't compete with his male counterparts. He lost. He's a loser. So you want us, the ones that really don't have anything to do with y'all's fight to compete with each other, to then put ourselves right in between it. Are you like what are you even saying? To now put ourselves right in between that makes no sense, because the competition is always going to be there. That is nature. Okay. And if your males didn't evolve, this is where they're at. But it's not reasonable. It makes no sense to then ask women to put themselves right in the middle of y'all's fight. And every time you talk about it, you're not bringing up the fact that, look, your males are losing. That's why over 90% of your males are garbage. You can't present these males to women, especially higher tiered women, and expect higher tiered women to do anything with that. There's nothing we can do with that. No, all the conversations you're having is you spending time comparing yourself to women. No, that doesn't make any sense.
It's the idea of intersectionality. That one shouldn't look at this only through the lens of gender. It's impossible to understand this divide without looking at socioeconomic factors. Rich men are fine. It's really working class men who are struggling.
You're right about that. Rich men are fine. Rich men, they don't care. Okay. Rich men are fine. Okay. Except for the degenerate ones that are being caught and dragged all over social media. Okay. Like Shannon Sharp, that gay male, that male is gay, completely gay. Dusty Didi, okay. Andrew Tate, not a good look, but worshipped by a lot of your males. Andrew Tate, but worshipped by a lot of your males, But for the most part, actually, rich men are fine. So that should tell you something. If they're losing, they're losing. Stop telling women to get with losers. Okay? Stop telling women to get with losers, only to procreate more losers that are just going to end up having to feed this stupid system that you've created that doesn't even work. Okay? And then at the end of the day, you're going to call yourself leaders at the end of the whole thing. Doesn't make sense. Okay.
Class and race are both very important. So the gender gaps in the US are much bigger in education and employment for working class men. But in the US in particular, there's also an issue for black men, especially. The gender gaps between black boys and black girls, black men and black women are roughly twice gender gaps for other racial groups. And so it's incredibly important to look at these things through that lens, as you just said, like looking at it intersectionally. It's a horrible word, but it's a useful idea. One of the big moves, particularly on the center-left side of the political spectrum, has been to move away from focusing on individual responsibility to structural disadvantages. And I think that, of course...
So can be, exactly. Rich males took everything from the working class males, even from women too. I mean, like, the reason women are doing better is just because we're just smarter, just by nature, right? Not the uncontrolled egos spewing ever, at least most of us, right? But it's like the rich males took everything and they're sitting here trying to compete with women. We're not your competition, but you don't want to focus on your competition because you can't compete. That's weak. Most women are not going to want that. They're not going to want no weak male. Because you can't offer anything to them. You can't offer anything to them. And then if they have children, what are you going to offer the children? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, except for the verbal Glock every day. Yeah. Glock 3000. Glock. Okay, let me stop. Y'all know, if y'all know, y'all know. The Glock 3000. Okay. Period.
Both are important, but if we look at like why, for example, in the pandemic, why were Black Americans, so much more exposed? We didn't say, well, it's because we didn't typically think it's because Black Americans weren't wearing masks or they weren't doing anything wrong. We thought, well, no, it's because of poverty, it's because of neighborhoods, because Black Americans are more involved in frontline work. And similarly, I think that the women's movement actually moved beyond an individualizing approach, which was more about the shoulder pads, right, and the voice training, and more about no, it's about childcare, it's about the structure of careers, it's about the way employers think about family life, right? It's structural. There are structural barriers to women's inequality. Well, in just the same way in education now, if boys are struggling in education, which they are, they're really struggling in the classroom, we should do the same thing and say, what is it about the structure of education that might not be working very well for boys?
So if I understand correctly, more educated men are also more likely to support feminism.
You see, that's why I can't take this guy seriously. What part of the education system or the education structure was changed for women? Like, which part was changed specifically because women were choosing not to go to school? What did we change in the education system in and of itself, in the classrooms in and of itself, because women were choosing to not go to school? When did that happen? What was changed? Like, maybe there's a piece of data that I'm missing somewhere, or like, sir, you cannot change the education system because you literally just said in this video that the education system is not the problem. You literally just said, because we're seeing, he literally just said this. Like, is he like, y'all? He literally said in this same video, because we're seeing the problem across the world, we know that it's not like an education system issue, especially within the United States. He literally just said that. So you know that it's not an education system issue, but because your males are degenerates and you don't know what else to do with your males, you're wanting to change the education system to what? What are you going to change it to? What are you going to change it to? When the education system is not the problem to begin with. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, are you well? Like, are these males well? Like, what is this? This is why you keep failing and flailing, because what is this caliber of leadership? This is not leadership. This is nothing. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So young, educated men who are rich, they're doing fantastically well, right? They're doing fantastically well. And when you're doing fantastically well, you're less likely to have that zero-sum mentality, right? You're doing well. Yes, we can all thrive. So, educated, rich, successful men, yes, absolutely. Because they've already achieved status. They have achieved status. So women's gains are not a threat to them.
But the irony here is that the men who have the most traditional views about the roles of men, like the men should be the breadwinner, the provider, are men from poorer communities who are the least likely to be able to fulfill that role. So there's a real tragedy there, which is that actually kind of upper middle class men who are super feminist, much more likely to be feminists, and don't have this view that men should be providers, they are providers, and they can be providers, right? But
it's a lot easier to say that when you don't have to do it.
Exactly. It's just, so basically, like, equality is much easier for the affluent and well-educated.
I think it's really important that we think about patriarchy as status beliefs.
Hold on, y'all. Like, aren't they having a whole issue right now when it comes to education and student loans? Because the administration has said that everyone has to get current with their student loans. Otherwise, their paychecks are going to start being garnished. And it only gave people like 2 weeks. I couldn't believe it. I was like, surely they'll give them at least 3 months. It only gave people like 2 weeks for these people with student loans to catch up on their student loans. But yet they'll sit here and pretend like they're actually trying to fix issues. So you're not trying to fix anything. You're just like sitting here harassing the rest of us for no reason. You are the same people that have decided to go as far as even garnish wages, but yet you're trying to sit here like you care about the poor. Like, why are males so degenerate? Like, can you be so for real right now? You literally don't give a crap about the poor. And yes, of course, with an education, you're able to make better decisions and better money. And of course, those males are not going to complain because they're not at the bottom of your totem pole. What do they care? So what's your point? Like, I'm not seeing what your point is. But I love the fact that they mentioned the irony in the situation. It's the poorest males. So you ladies that keep getting yourself stuck with poverty, okay? Only poverty will tell you to go 50-50 on Jack Squad. Because these males know you can't go 50-50 on pregnancy. You're not going to be carrying that baby. That baby is not going to be eaten from the nutrients that are literally coming within your body. The baby's literally eaten from your body. Okay. They're not going to be carrying that pregnancy. They're not going to give you 50% of the pain and labor. They're not going to be putting their life on the line to have a baby 50% of the way. That does not happen. No such thing exists within nature. So these males, these poverty-ridden males, just tell them the truth. They don't deserve women, point blank, period. You don't deserve women, and you definitely don't deserve children because you can't take care of them. You can't take care of them. There is no like, oh yeah, like, oh, I'm going to be the provider. On what salary are you going to be a provider? You're literally poor. Like, the poverty is probably...
You know, a patriarchal society is one where People think that men are high status. They are knowledgeable authorities deserving of deference. So even if a man is unemployed or has a pretty crappy house, he may still feel a sense of dominance over women. He may still be upset if a woman says no to his advances, if she spurns him. So that creates an intense sense of struggle and competition, the feeling that life is hard for them. And that sense of economic resentment is associated with what Professor Stephanie Stancheva and others called zero-sum mentalities. The idea that there is a fixed basket of goods and gains for you come at my expense.
Well, I think the danger of zero-sum thinking is present. It's real. You see it in survey evidence, and it's true. But it's true on both sides, right? I mean, it's most obviously true in the way you've just seen it, which is men saying, "Oh, well, men are suffering because women are rising." But it's also true when I try to persuade policymakers to do more stuff about boys and men. They'll say, "No, it's women and girls who need help."
Yeah.
No, they both need help. A friend of mine.
No, they don't both need help. You don't need help with being jack squat, except for figuring out a way to stop being losers. Okay. Like there's no way you're asking women to sign up with males that are poverty ridden. That doesn't make sense, because all this 50-50 that y'all go around screaming, and it's nowhere even close, and it never will be, because it's not supported by nature. You don't help women go through pregnancy. Most of y'all don't even cook and clean. You complain about that like the degenerates that you are. Okay. When the woman is pregnant, she's supposed to be able to say, "Hey, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that." Guess when women are the most at risk to suffer from violence from you, or to suffer from the male leaving? It's when they're pregnant. It's when they're pregnant. That happens when they're pregnant. The risk of abuse of women heightens and skyrockets when they're pregnant. And this is the same male that you want women getting themselves trapped in the midst of poverty. Are you well? Like, look, youngins, don't do it. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. If it doesn't make any sense, it doesn't make any sense. Period.
She said, equality always feels like a loss to the people who are previously unfairly ahead. And that's true. It's back to your point about relative status earlier, right? If it used to be the case that just being male just gave you this unfair advantage, then the removal of that is going to create some dislocation, right? And to the extent...
That's really a great sentence. Equality feels like a loss to the people who are unfairly ahead.
Right. I mean, it is, isn't it? And it's like, well, and so the question then is, like, do we just roll our eyes and say, get over it?
Yeah.
Right. In the space of a generation, like, what's wrong with you? And anybody.
That's literally what I say. Get over it. Because even till today, you're the ones causing the most violence within society. So yeah, get over it. Like, stop trying to find things to complain about because you're actually losers, but you're just now finding out that you're actually losers and you never could compete to begin with. You can't compete. You never could. Get over it. Okay. Because that's what you told women for decades when you were enslaving them. That's what you still tell women till this day. Basically, giving these males 2 years, 3 years for when these males are going around unaliving women and children. No more than 2-3 years in prison, and then they're allowed to go. You're basically telling us to get over it, so you get over it. Okay.
That's struggling with this transition is by default just a misogynist, reactionary, right? Or do we say, look, that's a tough change. No question, we've lost some kind of automatic status. That's a good thing for society, but we should be honest about the fact that that is quite a difficult change for people. And then we throw in terms like toxic masculinity, which sort of blames them for their own plight. And I just think we're going to lose men if we keep framing it this way. And
no one cares.
We're doing a much better job right now of calling men out rather than calling them in. There are just a few too many wagging fingers and not quite enough helping hands.
Yeah, because we're not gonna help degenerate predators. Okay, like degenerate predators don't need any help because they're degenerate predators. I'm so sorry. How can you ask for help from the oppressed? Are you well? What are you talking about? What do you want? What do you expect the oppressed to do for you? We're literally still the oppressed. That hasn't changed. All the violence is literally still being committed by you. So that math is not mathing. What is the oppressed supposed to do for you? Apart from trying to keep themselves safe and alive from you. These are too many wagging fingers because no one cares. Just tell them to get over it. That's literally all there is to it. Tell them to get over it. Point blank, period. Okay.
Toxic masculinity.
I talk a lot about toxic masculinity, and I discuss it in terms of getting people to think of toxic not as a value judgment, but rather of toxicity as rigidity and intolerance to difference. So what makes masculinity toxic? For that matter, I would argue what makes femininity toxic is prescribing just one way, one role to operate in the world, to move through life, and to behave in your interpersonal relationships, and then to demonize exceptions to that rule. Now, I don't always use the word toxic masculinity, despite liking it for that reason, because it has become toxic itself. If you use the word toxic in a conversation about gender, you can be pretty certain that a large proportion of the people that you're speaking to will just shut off. You've now signaled what your politics are. You've perhaps signaled that you are their enemy. And the conversation may be over right there.
Again, none of those make sense. That's not a solution. It's not a toxic. If it's a toxic masculinity issue, then that's you and your bros. That has nothing to do with women. That's you and your bros. Okay? That has nothing to do with women like this and that and that, toxic masculinity, that and that and that. Women don't need and should not be with any males they cannot provide. Period. All of the statistics, all of the data go against that. It's not an issue that we haven't tried different things. It's an issue that nothing has worked when it comes to dealing with your species. That's the issue. Nothing has worked. Are you going to tell us that we haven't done all these things already? That we haven't tried your 50-50 idiotic idea already and most women ran for the hills? It doesn't make sense. Continue to not address the issue.
So over the past 30, 40 years, media has become increasingly negative. We're also spending more time on our phones, and that means we can self-select into certain echo chambers.
We just don't share a consensus culture anymore. There are no TV shows that I can mention in a classroom that more than a quarter of my students have seen. I taught a popular culture class, so a class that you would assume is filled with people who are interested in music and film and television. And we had a running joke, which was that I was going to buy everyone pizza if we could find one movie that half of them had seen. And so it got to the point halfway through the year, we still hadn't found that movie.
And then social media corporations keen to keep me will then feed me more content that pleases my pride. So they send me more stuff, more polarizing content. And so because I'm in this now social media filter bubble, I hear people who agree with me. And I come to feel, oh, yes, that's right, because I don't see those views being challenged or criticized. So it's because of the economic resentment, because of the zero-sum
Oh my
mentality,
God, these people are so insane. Are they freaking serious? There's a lot of people with diverse thoughts on social media. So that's also not your issue. They'll pick anything and everything except for just admitting like, look, your males are a lost cause. You did it to yourself with your stupid patriarchy. Point blank, period. Stop complaining and move on. The rich males are not going to step out the way so you poverty-ridden males can do what exactly? You did it to yourself. Okay. And then on top of that, instead of looking and seeing like, well, it's the rich males that are really like your competition, all of your males come here and you start blaming women and harassing women with things that have nothing to do with us. Your male is losing. That doesn't have anything to do with us. He's poor. What does that have to do with us in the midst of this patriarchy that y'all take credit for building all the time? It's like anything and everything. They just pull nonsense. It's like you can't even, I'm falling asleep doing the thing. I'm like, Yeah, I'm listening. Girl, what? Get out of here.
Technological shifts. Then cultural entrepreneurs like Minson in Poland or Andrew Tate in England or Vox in Spain can then make political capital or cultural capital or a lot of money, right? By harnessing and building on those ideas.
What do you think of Andrew Tate?
If you were to ask me who is the most dangerous single person alive, we could, of course, go through lists of political leaders, obviously people who are conducting wars. Andrew Tate, though, is definitely in the conversation, I think, for the most dangerous person alive. Just to see the incredible influence, the number of teenage boys who don't just listen to him, but idolize him, who feel that he is not just important, but profound in some way. And that, he speaks truth, that he villainizes, he vilifies women.
Okay, y'all. So we're starting to wrap up. We're starting to wrap up. So let's see what the rest of what they have to say is. But they're already talking about this Andrew Tate thing and still continuing to miss the ball. Andrew Tate is not your issue. You got to ask yourself, oh, okay, there's Andrew Tate and then there's other males. Why did they all gravitate towards Andrew Tate? Because they already think this way. This is your patriarchy at its finest, okay? They already hated women. They already don't even like children, okay? Because if you cannot claim to like or even care about children if you hate women. They come through us, okay? So Andrew Tate is not your issue. Andrew Tate is simply an embodiment of your real core issue. He is the embodiment of your problem. He's not the problem in and of itself. Okay, because you got to ask yourself, well, why would they all flock to Andrew Tate? They hear the things Andrew Tate says. Why didn't they all just say, or most of them say, well, that's not fair, Andrew Tate. Like, why would you say these things about women? They help us out with several things. That's where we come from. I love my mom. You didn't hear none of them saying none of that to Andrew Tate. Okay, so no, Andrew Tate is not your issue. Andrew Tate is just an embodiment of your actual problem. And your actual problem is in and of itself the males, who you are as a species, who you are as a person. That is the problem. The problem is who you are. And all of this deflecting, it's the school system, it's not going to help you. You're just going to go extinct. The only sad part about that is that I won't get to see it. That's the only thing that makes me sad is I won't get to see the male's extinction. Okay, because the problem is who you are. That's why these males are flocking towards Andrew Tate. There's a lack of consequences when it comes to the behaviors that males exhibit. Complete lack of consequences. I just gave the example of Korea. Same thing happens here in the United States. The males, they could unalive women left, right, center and end up getting 5 years in jail or never even getting persecuted for that matter because it takes so long to get through the legal system. How many TikTok stories from women have we seen? Well, they haven't done anything to them yet. They said that we had to move the court to here and then the court date to there and then and these males never end up seeing any type of consequences for their actions, still walking around within society. Okay, so it's like, I don't even know how they don't see that. Andrew Tate propels the issue, but he's not the issue. Andrew Tate embodies the issue, but he's not the core of the issue. All of this assault on women, all of these assaults on children, that was already happening before Andrew Tate. The women were already unhappy before Andrew Tate. By the way, smash the like button, y'all, as we start wrapping up and doing our summaries. Almost forgot. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Thank y'all for joining me today. And let's see.
and he mocks empathy, kindness. The way that he is socializing these boys, I am terrified to see, what will our world look like in 10, 15 years if we can't deprogram the teenage boys who look up to him.
I see people like Andrew Tate as largely the symptom rather than the cause. You have to risk saying that there are some aspects of what Andrew Tate says which you can understand why young men would be attracted to it. It's just that he then leads you into a place that is much darker. But the second thing, I'm much more interested in less in what Andrew Tate and others are supplying and more that they are finding a market. The reason they're finding a market is because there are a lot of questions that young men are struggling, boys and men are struggling with now, as we've just discussed. And so they're looking for someone who's addressing those questions and providing answers. Well, who do they find? They find the reactionaries. And why do they find them? Because there's nobody else there, except perhaps some feminists telling them, well, stop being so toxic and, be better allies. For me, it's an unbelievable failure, on cultural failure on our part to have created a world where that demand is going to those figures, to that supply.
Yeah, I think that it is certainly true that Andrew Tate offers men who are looking for a male role model, somebody to look up to. And he doesn't exclusively talk about women. That's not even the majority of what he offers. That's absolutely true. What I do see, though, is that his self-help is a bit of, it's a gateway drug. Which is why I would hesitate to say, but he does this one thing well. There's nobody who is there just to learn how to be an accountant. Apparently his accounting course I've read is actually quite good. But I do think that we do have a problem with strong male role models.
So I'll give you one example. Someone who is a big follower of Andrew Tate, and I'm talking to him on the phone, and he said they don't care about male suicide. And I said, who's they? And I'm sure they do. He said, the government. They don't care about male suicide. I said, okay, what's your evidence? They don't care. He sends me to the government website on suicide disparities, and asks me the question, where do they mention the gender gap, the biggest gap of all, which is between men and women? There's no mention. There's a page for LGBTQ, there's a page for rural urban, there's a page for veterans. It's all good stuff, right? But there is no mention of the fact that being male puts you at a 4 times higher risk of suicide, or that male suicides are rising, especially among young men. And I'm thinking, no wonder Andrew Tate and his others can pick up followers. Because
oh my God, this guy needs to piss off. Like, there's no way any of this stuff that he's saying, like, you can't really believe the stuff that's coming out of your mouth, sir. You can't really believe the stuff that's coming out of your mouth. Males are not the oppressed. That's why they're not the focus point, because they are not the oppressed. Like, there's no way you believe any of the nonsense that's coming out of your mouth. Male suicide is 4 times higher. Yeah, you know what else is super high and even higher than that? Males that unalive women and children. Like, that's literally all I have to say to bring this whole thing back to ground center. Like, there's no way. Like, the males want, like, the males, and this is their fault. The males walk around thinking that the world should revolve around them and thinking that they're gods. Males, you're not gods. No one cares. No one cares because you're not being oppressed. No one is doing anything to you. If you're unaliving yourself, despite this entire patriarchy being built specifically for you, that's on you. That's on you. So, there's no research out there. There's nothing that's addressing the males' unaliving rate. You know why? Probably because we have our hands full with all of the unalivings that the males themselves are doing. That's probably why. Right. Hi, Perry. Thanks for joining. Perry Twinkle, thanks for joining. Insane. Yeah. day. Like, what are you even talking about? So now you want us to play the world's smallest violin for the oppressors? Literally the oppressors. You want us to start feeling bad for the oppressors. Is he well? And this is why he's making no impact. These young males continue to swarm over to the manosphere, continue to swarm over to Andrew Tate. All these years that this male has been doing interviews and stuff, nothing to show for it. Why? Because he's a joke. This guy's a clown. As old as he is, as experienced as he should be, saying this stuff as though he has no cognitive processing skills. Let's be epically for real. At least be honest about the data and the counterpoints and the counter arguments. At least be honest with those. Don't just come here trying to act like everyone else is dumber than you. That doesn't even make any sense.
They say that the government and other institutions aren't paying enough attention to their issues. They're right. And so what we have to do is make them wrong.
No. No, we don't have to do that. We don't have to make them wrong. Okay, that's not what we have to do. What you have to do, you, the male species, okay, and all your leaders and whatnot, right? What you have to do, if you're serious about this problem, what you have to do is train your males to not be losers. Okay, train your males to not come here expecting that everything should be handed to them, including a purpose and usefulness. You're not useful. You don't have a purpose just because you're a male. That does not make you useful. That's what we keep avoiding. That's what we're skipping here. Why haven't you told them yet that just because you're a male does not mean you're useful? Just because you're a male does not mean you have a purpose. Build it. If you want it, go build it, period. Why haven't you told them that? Like, I don't understand. What is the issue? What's so hard to tell them about that? Why haven't you told them that, look, oppressors cannot sit here worrying about the oppressed cannot sit here worrying about oppressors. It doesn't work that way. You can't ask the oppressed to sit here worrying about oppressors and what y'all are doing, despite the fact that you are the oppressors. Despite the fact that we live in a patriarchy. That's surreal. It does not make sense.
Able to say, what are you talking about? The government and the media are covering this stuff all the time. But I got to tell you right now, that's not true.
They are covering it all the time. That's where the male loneliness epidemic came from, because they thought anyone gives a crap. Like, no one cares about what males that are sitting there unaliving and raping women and children are unaliving. It's like maybe there's not even enough of them doing that, because it's like the fact that we still have this major issue that is the male oppressing. You take a look at all these different countries where the women are walking around, they got stuff on their head because the women have to be covered from head to toe. They can't even live their lives, and you continue to feed them nonsense to where these women can't even be free because of you. Like, are they delusional? Like, what are they even smoking? Like, I don't even understand. Insane.
What do you think the solution could be to bridge this divide?
Well, you have to end with the hardest question, right? Women can't just live in their echo chamber. They can't just live in their bubble, because they may have that online, but when they start moving through the real world, they butt up against patriarchy. They butt up against sexism and misogyny. They can't avoid it. Men, on the other hand, because we live in a patriarchy, they're much more insulated in that way. And so part of the solution has to be men showing an increasing willingness to enter spaces that they are uncomfortable with. As men, we are often so used to moving through the world with a certain level of safety. You have a discussion with any group of women, and you will hear about how anytime they're in public, they are thinking about their physical safety. So younger men just don't have that same experience. We feel entitled to feeling comfortable and safe. So how do we bridge the divide? Listening to new voices, entering new spaces to hear the conversations that people who are not like us are having.
I have to say, I feel a bit cynical about this because as a teenager, you just don't have.
He's giving actual advice, and this guy, this weirdo, first of all, doesn't he look and sound like a weirdo? Like, I don't even want to be mean, but honestly, this guy. No, okay, no, stop. That was me. But it's like, what are you feeling cynical about? The only thing I would feel cynical about is that the fact that the males can't do it. Everything he's listing is not possible for the male species. That's beyond their evolutionary standing. It's beyond their evolutionary standing. They can't do all that stuff. No way. If they could do it, they would have already done it by now. Okay. They can't do any of the stuff that you're listing. It's not possible. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. And then also, he didn't list the fact that males feel entitled to women as well. Males feel entitled to women as well, which is a big part of the problem because women don't see it that way. We don't see it that way. Herein lies one of the biggest problems that you have. You are not entitled to us. You're not entitled to a woman, yet you feel you're entitled to us. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Okay.
The mindset for this. Maybe when you're like 18, 20, 25, but as a teenager, your whole preoccupation is to fit within a group, isn't it? I feel like sometimes we forget that they're still very young. Like you can expect men to change, but boys, maybe that's expecting too much. Perhaps we should expect the system to change. And I don't know how, but perhaps phrases like, boys don't cry, can't you study like your sister? Maybe even toxic masculinity, they can make it sound, for someone still very young, like these issues are their fault.
Mm-hmm. I think you're actually.
Why is he moving like that? Can make it sound like these issues, sir. No, we're not going to change. I mean, unless you want to make it a matriarchy, what else are you going to make it? Like this guy, are they stupid? This is already a patriarchy. So what within the system are you going to change? It's already a patriarchy. We've been saying that. You've been saying that. Your guests have been saying that over and over and over again in this video. We already live in a patriarchy. That is the definition of a patriarchy. You know what? Like these males, like why? Like they can't think their way out of a paper bag. Like why do I have to come here and demolish you guys every time with stuff that's obvious? So let's see the definition of the patriarchy, because apparently we're having a hard time here. Like, I'm not understanding what these males are whining and crying about. So what are we going to change in a system that's already a patriarchy, sir? What are we going to change in a system where it's already a patriarchy? The definition of a patriarchy is the system of a society or a government in which the father or the eldest male is head of the family. And I don't want to say this with an accent. And the descendants are traced through the male line. What else do you want to change in a system like that one to further favor the male species? What else? Apart from enslaving women, because that sounds to me like maybe that's what you're proposing. Are you proposing enslaving women so that women are forced to then put up with you, date you, be with you? Is that what you're proposing? Because short of that, we are already in a system that favors males 1,000%. So what in the system are we going to change, sir? What are we going to change in the system? Please, I'm trying to figure this out. A system of society or government in which males hold the power and women are largely excluded from it. That is the definition of a patriarchy. So when these males say stupid stuff that all it takes is a simple Google search, I start not taking them seriously. Like, you're not being serious. You're just over here doing a whole comedic act, being a whole joke, okay? And you're not even taking your own self seriously, sir. Because what are we going to change? I wouldn't even listen to a guy like that anyway. He's so like, nah, nah, nah. like, why are you moving like that? Like, so weird. Like, get out of here. I don't want to. Let me stop roasting.
Really pointing toward one specific solution. We talk to their parents, because it really is, it's not just teaching the children, but talking to the parents and talking to them about how they may be contributing to the problem, not consciously, not intentionally, by saying things like, toughen up, boys don't cry. So if we can work on educating, not directly the children, but instead talking to their parents and saying, look, here are ways that you can concretely impact the gender ideology that your children develop in ways then that may, I would use the word inoculate or vaccinate them against some of these ideas. Because frankly, it's never too early to start teaching feminism to children.
We need to.
I agree that, like, I agree with him in the stance of, like, we do have a lot of crappy parents out there today, for sure. And we have a lot of crappy, no offense, but moms. Because I see, even on Instagram, I see a lot of, like, women that will say dumb stuff like, I just can't discipline my kid. He's just too cute. I try to discipline him and I start laughing. So I don't know what they're going to do when it comes to that, but it's not looking good. It's not getting any better. Like, it's like you have children raising children. So that does not help. That does not help. But at the same time, you said this is a patriarchy. I mean, it's like setting them up for failure and then blaming them that they're failing in the midst of a patriarchy. I don't know what they're going to do, but yeah, that is a problem.
We work very hard to persuade fathers that they matter as fathers, even if they're not providers in the traditional sense.
But they don't matter as fathers, sir. They don't matter. If they don't make themselves useful, if they don't make themselves matter, then they don't matter. What are you going to force them to matter? Most of these males, no one forces them to leave. No one forces them to assume women, great women and children. No one's forcing them to do these things. So no, they don't matter. It's like he wants to force us to give a crap. No, we don't care.
So that means when we have paid leave policies, they must be equal for fathers and mothers, and they must be independently available to fathers. And we need workplaces that are father friendly. We have to have a massive recruitment drive of men into teaching, into the healthcare professions where there are fewer and fewer men. We need more technical training, apprenticeships, technical high schools, which are good for boys especially. The other thing that we should, I think, seriously...
So he's saying, like, okay, like the guys can't do intelligence work. We need to put them to work with their hands. There's not a shortage of technical training. When did that become? So, because if we need more technical training, that would mean that what you are insinuating is that there's a shortage of technical training, which there's not. Because as we've established at the beginning of this video, your males aren't even going to school. So it's not a matter of there being a shortage anywhere in the education system or in the training system. So every time this guy talks, he just says a bunch of nonsense, it's surprising to me because he looks like he would say something smart, right? And it's like, but I don't get it because you just keep contradicting yourself. There's not a shortage. Actually, the industries that need workers to work with their hands they don't have nearly enough people. I think they're even offering benefits, like additional benefits and additional money to males to encourage them to join these industries. And your males are saying no. Don't know what to tell you.
We consider as policymakers is starting boys in school a year later, just because they're, as we discussed, they do mature a little bit later, and in adolescence especially that really count. And then lastly, as kind of parents and journalists and think tankers and policymakers and community leaders, is let's take this issue away from the culture warriors, away from the people who want to weaponize this or exploit this or profit from this in one way or another, and just straightforwardly and compassionately say, there are a whole bunch of issues that we need to pay more attention to now, boys and men, and make those boys and men feel seen
No,
heard
no,
and
no,
loved
no.
and
Piss
acknowledged.
off. No one loves a degenerate male. Okay. No one's the only thing we're seeing when it comes to degenerate males is that they're degenerate. Okay. Like, it's like, make yourself useful if you want to be useful. If you want to be loved, if you want to be cared about, okay, then do the work. Find people that are going to love you. Find people that are going to care about you. Most of your males are knee deep in their video games, and the other half of them are gay. So what are you even saying? Okay, like, do the work that it would take. Do the work that it would take to get to the point that you want to get to find the surroundings that you might want to find, and do something. But most of your males are knee deep in video games, and the other half of them are literally homos, gay. You know, so what are we talking about here? None of these things are going to help the male species. None of them. Hi, Miss Markin. Thanks for joining. So that's kind of like where we're at. Okay, that's the video. That's where we're at. So we're gonna wrap up here. Oh, here, like, so some of these comments, right? So this male says 6.9K, y'all, 6.9K likes on this comment, right? From the males, obviously. He says it's because male issues are ignored by the media and the government. Look at the huge push for women to get into STEM fields, but very little to no push for men to get help into help fields. My jaw is on the ground. My jaw is literally on the ground. The push for women to get into STEM fields is because it's true. There's a shortage of women in STEM fields, but women are, in fact, in other fields. Okay. There's no issue when it comes to whether or not women are choosing to go to school, whether or not women are choosing to even look for jobs to begin with. Okay. Now, so they keep jumping the gun, right? Blaming this, blaming that, blaming this and that and that and that. Sir, most of you are not even going to school. You're not even finishing high school. So what are they going to push for? Not to mention the fact that help industry, in the help industries, I just gave the example in South Korea of the doctor that was assessing women that were going into surgery. The women's on conscious body, assessing those women and taping the whole thing and chatting about it with his bros. This just happened like last week. That's the help field, the health field. Okay. You want us to push putting males in the midst of children. Males who are pedos. Most of them are pedos. So without fixing the issue, that is, most of your males are pedos, you want us to pushing, putting these males, these pedos in front of children. Putting these uneducated males, they're not even finishing high school, in front of children in health fields, pushing them to go into these fields when they're not even finishing high school. You see how when you just hate women, you start saying nonsense just because you hate women, just because you can't compete, and you're getting demolished by the 5% of males that are demolishing you and continuing to demolish you. You see how nothing you say makes sense? Then you're claiming males' issues are not pushed. All we've been hearing for the past how many years is about the male loneliness epidemic. That's all we've been hearing about. Male loneliness epidemic here. Male loneliness epidemic there. Meanwhile, none of you males get any nicer. None of you get any better to be around. Every comment, even on social media, is you insulting women. None of you get any better. And yet you continue to complain. There's just no awareness for oppressors, mind you, for the oppressors. There's no awareness for the oppressors. But yet every left corner, there's something about a male loneliness epidemic. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. And we're wrapping up here, y'all. So this male says, if discussing males' problems is seen as problematic before even discussing what those problems are, then clearly there's a big problem. I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know what to say to that. It's like the standard male gaslighting word salad nonsense. If discussing male's problem is a problem, then clearly there's a problem. No. The question that you're trying to ask is why is, so just ask the question. What are you even talking about? What is that? Just ask the question. So the question you're trying to say or ask is, why is discussing male's problem even a problem to begin with? That's the question. What is that? This is what I'm saying. Like, the males are such gaslighters. You can't even take them seriously in their question. Sir, it's not that it's a problem discussing male's problem. It's just that no one cares because you are the oppressors. You form your own demise. No one is oppressing you. You're choosing it. No one can help you. That's the problem. It's not that there's a problem with you doing all this complaining. Women are just going to continue to not choose you. No one cares that you're losing in the midst of your own patriarchy that was literally built for males. You know why no one cares? Because we have other things to worry about, like all of the women and children that you keep unaliving on a daily basis. That's a bigger problem. Okay? Because women have to literally actively protect themselves from you. That's the answer to your question. I don't know what this is supposed to be. This word salad. You see, they try to sound smart when they didn't even finish high school. That's why they sound like that. Like, sir, if you're trying to make a point or ask a question, just make the point or ask the question. What you wrote here doesn't even make any sense. And then 314 of you agreeing with the idiocracy that doesn't make any sense. All just to say it shouldn't be a problem that males discuss their problems. Just say that. Like, what is that? The male species, I swear. Why didn't you? Oh my God, they're always complaining about that. You did a video about males, but you didn't interview any one of our males. Yeah, so anyways, y'all, it's a bunch of males on here. Of course, there's so many of them too, because again, like I always say, ladies, we're talking about 5% of males that are worth anything. Literally only 5% of them are worth anything. So that means over 90% of males aren't worth jack squat. So that's why you'll always see this comment section packed. But the truth of the matter is what we're seeing now isn't abnormal. It's not abnormal. This is the actual order that it's supposed to be in within nature. Okay. Within nature, women are not going to choose to procreate with garbage. That's not a choice they're going to consciously make unless the patriarchy interferes. Okay. Nature does not propel women to procreate with garbage unless the patriarchy interferes. Okay. With a weakening patriarchy, because you need women to be out there working all of these intelligence roles that your males cannot sustain and cannot do due to their evolutionary ceiling. Well, this is unavoidably going to happen. So you can't tell women that, like, oh, they should negotiate with predators. It doesn't make sense. And we've seen the data with that. We've seen the data. Even I wouldn't do that. I mean, you're richer than me or piss off. You're richer than me, or at best you're a fling. Because what am I going to do? Put myself at risk to being assumed by you, one of you predators? It doesn't make sense. But they'll sit here and all complain. They'll go through anything and everything before addressing the real issues. You know, and now they're saying, look, they're saying that there's always been a gap and women have it better, but the males are the ones suffering. There's always a gap between males and women. Just ask people about conscription, divorce, abortion, child support, and discrimination. So now the males are going as far as saying that they're the ones being discriminated against. Okay. Within a patriarchy, you're the ones being discriminated against. Okay. Child support and abortion. Meanwhile, you had nothing to do with bringing the child here. You didn't help with the pregnancy. You didn't help with the delivery. You couldn't even help with those things, even if you wanted to. And most unalivings happen. A lot of unalivings, the most vulnerable, one of the times the woman is going to be the most vulnerable is when she's pregnant with the kids. Why? Because you're predators. Because you are a danger to her while she's pregnant. Meanwhile, you're sitting here complaining about abortion, child support, and divorce. Why are the women divorcing you? How about you tell me? Why are the women divorcing you? Why are they running for the hills despite the incredible patriarchal conditioning through Disney movies and all these things? The women are still running for the hills. Why? Despite all these picniches that we have, all these male psycho women that we have within our own group of women, why is it that you're still failing? How is that possible? Let's ask the questions that really matter. Conscription, who put that together? Who put that together? Make yourself useful, okay? Do something, make yourself useful. Anyways, y'all. So that kind of brings us in summary, to what we're talking about here. They keep yelling that the marriage is in crisis. The women aren't wanting to get married to the males. They're saying it's the males that don't want to get married to the women. Look, either way it goes, the women aren't going to trap themselves in no marriage. Okay. Let me see if I can even pull this up. Yeah. Yeah. They're complaining about something that's so stupid. The marriage rates have literally been declining since the 1970s. It's just that now it's even more amplified. It's even worse because the women are running even faster away from these males. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think the males they're not going to be able to get with the program. I would say, look, you males need to get with the program, but you're not going to be able to. So you're going to continue to get wiped clean by the 5%ers. And the 5%ers it's not only made up of those males that have money. It's those males that the males continue to label as simps. You hear the males say, oh, he's just a simp. They label each other. They bully each other. And then they expect women to do what? The 5%ers are going to be those males that see the value in women and are labeled as simps, right? It's going to be the males that are making way more money than the rest of you. It's going to be basically the males that have access to women. That's literally what it comes down to. Why? Because that's how your patriarchy has it set up. You literally set up a patriarchy where the value is women. Women are literally the value. And so they're going to continue to fail and flail. The marriage rates are going to continue to plummet because these issues are not even being addressed by the male species, and that's why their unaliving rates continues to go so high because they don't address any of the core issues, right? They don't address any of the core issues, and then they wonder why their unaliving rates continue to increase. Yeah, so can be exactly. Most bullies are statistically males. They bully each other. Y'all should watch that Netflix show. Oh my gosh. It shows almost to perfection how the males actually rank each other and how they behave around each other and around the males they perceive to be alphas. It's super crazy. It's super crazy. Anyways, y'all, so let's go ahead. I think that's a good place for today. Yeah, don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button. Thank you all for joining me today on today's live. We'll probably go live again later on this week, either Thursday or Friday. So be on the lookout for that. Check out the Patreon. Thank you to all the YouTube channel members and the Patreon members. Love y'all so much. And check out all the memberships and the Patreon as well. The links are all in the description. So thank you for the support for all the members, all the people that are already members. Okay. So yeah, I think that's about it. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.